Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and end our recess and get going with our next applicant, Adora Daycare. You're here. Come on up, please. If you'll introduce yourselves, speak into the microphone, and okay.
And we're making a presentation today for the Adora Daycare project, which is 5750 North Point Parkway. I think you guys know originally it was South Trust Bank, and then it was a Wells Fargo Bank, and it's been vacant for some time. Our owners are here, Keith again, as well as landscape architect Pete Wilson, and we'd like to discuss our package.
Okay. All right. What do you want to talk about first? Why don't you talk about the building first?
So,
Let's see.
it's not up there.
No. Well,
Right over
let's see if, well, all right. Yes, we did get those. Okay. All right.
Some of us did, some didn't.
Oh, did you not get
Fast
those?
enough? No,
Yeah.
none of us have them.
How did I get it? How did I get them?
You're in charge. Cool skin.
We only got one.
There's two copies of that. You've got one and Holly's got one, and Holly's got a pink symbol. I don't know that, I think those are just full elevations. This is just,
Oh, well, here, let's
this is the new
pass that to you.
elevation. So I
Kind
don't
of,
think we need
you
to
can all,
necessarily pass those around. This is just a full set of all four sides. But the only change in color elevations is this one.
I don't need this?
probably not. Okay. Well, let's talk about the building then. Tell us what you're doing to the building itself.
You want that back?
No, you can take a look at it. Look at me.
No, it's just. Sorry, thank you for your patience. So, originally we were planning to match the brick of the existing building. However, it's going to be pretty difficult to get an exact match, so we are proposing, and our owners would like to paint the building. So we're going to keep all the brick would be painted, which would be everything above the water table that you see there. And we would pressure wash and clean all of the rough cut masonry, which would be, I think it's a split face block. All that would be pressure washed. And the ephes above at the top with the cornice below the roof line would be maintained, and we would match that color with our stucco, which would be only the portions of the wings that you see beyond. Everything that's beyond that's shaded would be new architecture. The building that with the signage that's prominent and proud is the lighter in the rendering. There's an existing high-profile shingle roof. We'll be matching that shingle with our new volumes of building behind. And then we're going to include a clear story you see above there in the center of the new addition, so we can get some natural light into the hallway.
Okay, if you'll, why don't you, it looks like you have a material sample board there. If you kind of hold that up and walk us through again, maybe starting from the bottom up, what the materials are and the colors and so forth.
This is the split face block that's below, that's either a block or an Aaron's Craft material. We're researching what that material is.
So that's the water table you're talking about up
All
there.
our new architecture is going to match that, so we're going to continue that around all the new volume of architecture. This is the silver storefront, which is a clear anodized storefront that we'll be matching for all of our new storefront. All of the paneling or the divisions of the storefront, we're going to match that same pattern as well on our new windows that goes around that you can kind of see in the, where Red's got his cursor right there. And then we have we will, on the new architecture, have a field and an accent ephes
that's gonna be, that's the brick color, that material.
I think.
I'm sorry, Victor, I'm looking at the
I think-
two materials, so that is going in the,
Yeah.
just that section?
Just that section there, yes. And if you want, we can show the other elevations so they can understand the volume of the building.
Yeah, real quick,
I imagine it goes on the other side as
Just
well.
keep in
right?
mind, these are all in the burgundy before we talked about making those paint changes.
so for the board, the existing building ends here and here. So this is new, and this is new.
And again, this is looking at it from North Point Parkway.
Yeah, 2D
Right.
from North Point, yes.
And then this, the paint sample I'm holding, that's gonna be the,
Kiln beige.
it's gonna be the brick color then, or the proposed painted brick color. Okay.
And the base is more on the white.
Why don't you, can you hold that, or can you stick that on your sample board next to some of the, just to kind of give us a,
It's very subtle. So
Here's the existing building.
okay.
And then the bottom left there, that's your ephes color, right?
that's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I mean, this is just a base, this is just for discussion, so we can lighten this and darken this as we see fit. If you guys feel like there's not enough contrast.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We're still working.
Yeah,
buds out.
that's going to that,
Kind of
what's in his
left
left hand, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think something to give it a little more contrast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, we would like to go more cream, but we wanted to talk about it before we made that decision because it's kind of color can be sticky.
You know, I was kind of hopeful you could match that existing brick. There's really, so you've tried, I don't know what kind of brick you have there now, but,
Well, we
so-
have gotten close, but it won't be an exact match. So if we have to go that direction, we can go that direction, but, you just need to keep in mind that it's not gonna be 100% perfect. The plan is to pressure wash and clean the existing building, and then if we were to match the brick, we would then build new behind it. And as you can see, we're trying to pick up the detailing of the existing building as
So-
much as possible.
all right, so in this elevation we're looking at, Brett, can you tell us where the existing building, okay, and where does the existing building end in that?
I think, Victor, isn't it?
That's correct.
The building is right here, but there was, the drive-through was extended back this way, but the building, I think, ended right there.
Okay,
Correct. Our addition is gonna be where the teller drive-through was and to the extent of where the teller drive-through went.
okay.
And we're stopping at that point, so we're just,
I wonder if there could be some sort of accent area there that separates them so they're not right next to each other, and then you just match it as close as possible.
You almost make that little, I don't know, I'm just talking, you almost make that little link there where the drive-through was totally different, and then it gives you, I guess, like, how closely are you matched, or were you trying to, obviously you were trying to match the existing brick, but you can't. How close of a match is that? Is it,
I think it's fairly close. I mean, I think it's, we're gonna go out to the site. I've already had brick rep go out there actually and choose this brick. But we're gonna go out to the site and make sure that we're, if we have to go that route, that we would be matching as near as possible to the existing.
So if you added some sort of separation, whether it was stone or stucco or whatnot, in between the two,
Sure.
from a distance, they might look
Sure.
pretty close.
Yeah, that breezeway will be indented, so it's gonna be kind of inside. So, yeah, that is entirely possible.
So you wouldn't see that from the road? I mean, 'cause-
no,
Yeah,
you
so
wouldn't,
this
yeah.
is-
I don't.
This is the, I think this is the Rockville side?
This is the Rockville side.
Yeah, this is the Rockville side.
Well, plus the fact, I think you're gonna have some playground, aren't you gonna have a playground or something in there as well that may,
Yeah, if you could show them the side.
From the front, yeah, you're gonna catch this, if you're driving on North Point, you're gonna catch this and this, which are set back, a little bit. Maybe wouldn't notice it, but, when they made the decision, and I talked to Victor yesterday, it's like, it's a 6 1/2 dozen the other, because you're either gonna look back there and go, well, they tried, but clearly didn't make it, or you're gonna say, okay, well, that's an addition, and we're okay with that kind of thing, so it's,
but I think again, in this case, there's gonna be some playgrounds right there in those two wing areas, right?
not in front of them, it'll be
beside them,
From
okay.
north, you'll get this full view.
What about landscape?
There'll be some landscape, we can look at,
Because I'm just thinking, once you paint something, you're always gonna have to paint it. But, and it's a pretty nice looking building right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I
It used
guess,
to be kind of woke up, but it's,
I guess I'm wrong, looking at that 2D, really, the only, you're right, it's back here. So this is your elevation, so what's gonna stick out is
Can you
these.
zoom in on that a little bit, Brett? Yeah, so the fence is indicated there, we're gonna have at a minimum, a 7-foot tall fence. It may be that we have to go to 8, depending on the regs, to screen the playground equipment, and we currently don't have a playground layout yet, so we don't know what that equipment is, because we're still early in the process. So that's something we can talk about with respect to screening, but I think landscaping wise, we're gonna heavily screen that area, and, we can talk about that when we get to the point.
Okay,
I don't think you're gonna notice the.
I think thinking about it more with the wings like that, some landscaping, some other stuff in front of it, I don't really think you're gonna,
You're not gonna
The transition's
you
gonna be
might-
shaded anyway because
yeah.
it's set
You
back.
might
Yeah,
see
I
a
think-
little bit on Rockville
I-
here,
I agree.
but this is that area.
But then there's a playground there, I just don't
And
think
the
you're gonna notice it.
Yeah,
mm-mm, I agree. I don't think you need to. Okay.
Can we approve it as matching brick, but with the brick match to be approved by staff in advance? Maybe get out there on site and look at the sample against the building and go, is it close enough?
Are you gonna build like a sample wall panel of the brick, or
You
you?
know what I mean? Because we can't see it. If we could see it, we could make a call, but.
Well, here's what they,
Well,
here's
that-
what
we
the,
can blame it on you if it's that good.
Sure, yeah.
here's what they can do is, they get a contractor on board, they can do a sample wall panel of the brick and maybe of the stone or whatever, and then you can actually look at it on site and see how close.
Yeah, that's
you
what
are.
And I assume that, washing the front building is
The
part of
mortar
the
makes
plan
a
as
big
well, so
difference,
it'll
too.
be as new as it can be. Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. With looking at it, I don't think we need to build a full-scale wall, I think we
No.
can, I think we can do,
Take some
lay some bricks
samples
up there.
yeah.
but the mortar is important too, because aged mortar is hard to match,
Yeah,
so.
the mortar, I think, will be more of the key is to try to not make it look quite so brand new.
Well, if they pressure wash it, it's gonna clean it up, so.
Yes, we'll have to see, that'll, again, probably be a on-site call for everybody, it's okay, here's what we're thinking. Yeah, so
Okay.
I think that's acceptable in here.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, if you were to look at it and go, I don't think it's quite close enough, then they come back and we talk about paint.
We're pretty far down the road at that point, though, but I guess,
Well, they're gonna brick it either way, so.
yeah, they are gonna have to break it either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, true, okay.
Okay, let's see, any other have we looked at all the exterior elevations, Brett? I know you were showing us some of those,
No,
let's
I
see.
was clicking through them
Okay.
pretty quickly, so we'll look at,
First of all, we're glad to see an empty building being repurposed, so thank you for doing that, we appreciate that.
so I think, Victor, you just want to kind of walk them through the
Sure.
elevations now, and then,
So, as you can see here, the sign is at the existing area where the existing bank sign was. We showed that what we think is current for signage, what they will allow. This is the Adora logo. I'm assuming that we would be backlighting that sign if it's allowed. We have not talked about that yet. The pre-hung awning, the aluminum suspension cable awning there doesn't exist currently, but we need to provide some cover for customers and patrons coming in and out of the facility.
And that'll be the main entrance to the
That'll be
facility?
main entrance.
Boy, it seems like you'd want to make that a little bit bigger, but,
Well, we did look at a potential option to do what we
Like a-
call kiss and go, which is like where you drop kids off.
like a
and
porta
go.
cachere? Okay.
But we elected not to do that because it was gonna have such a huge site impact with respect to parking and everything else. We elected not to do that.
Okay.
Certainly make what we have there bigger. I'm just trying to be conservative with respect to the existing architecture. All of what Brett showed you there is existing and won't be changed other than cleaned up. That's the only changes we're making to that existing building. We're adding some doors so they can get out to the playground, and we're keeping the same openings and the same type of storefront. We'll just add door, glass going down to the ground there.
So this is gonna be a glass door, not a
Yeah.
solid?
That's
It does
what
show-
our plan is, because we're trying to match the existing storefront. We've shown it graphically there so you understand that we're making a change. And then if you want, we can show them the rear elevation. So this side of the elevation basically faces a very wooded lot behind the existing building. And all these openings here will face either playgrounds or will face fencing to allow them to get around to the playgrounds. And then I guess just keep going. Here you can see the roof plan, you can see what I'm talking about with those two volumes. And then also the clear story piece in the middle there, sort of a cupola style architectural element there. And that's pretty much it. Our signage, I don't know if you want to get the signage yet, or we just want to stick with the building right now.
Let's just see if we have any questions on the building, any more questions. I do have questions. So what age students are coming to this facility? What do you see as the,
It's toddler to, I think, 2 years old. Infant to 4 years old.
okay, all right,
4 years old.
very good.
What's the material on the tower or the cupola?
That will be hardy with potentially some inset of some hardwood stucco. So that will be hardy trim with either inset of hardwood stucco or it'll be flat hardy trim painted to match all the rest of
All
it.
the rest?
And that's those are kind of clear story windows so that you're letting in natural light down into the,
So, and I don't have the plan, the actual floor plan, I should have brought that with me, but there is an octagonal element in the hallway, so that will flood down into that octagon in the hallway there.
okay.
Seems like it would be the hard coat stucco more than anything else, just to match the wings.
Sure, and it can be.
I
We were
agree, Pat.
sensitive to using stucco because of the North Point overlay.
Yeah, if it was just stucco in those panels, right, then it wouldn't add that much stucco.
I think, yeah.
Is this the existing location of the HVAC unit?
So those four that you see at the top there, those are the existing HVAC location conditions for the building. Right now, there's a brick screen that goes around it with a kind of a filigree kind of an opening so that you can sort of see, but not really. We're planning on using brick to surround the new condensers. There probably will be, instead of 2 and 2 that were shown, there will probably be 4 and 4. But all that will actually be screened behind the playground fence, so you wouldn't see any of that from either North Point Parkway or Rock Mill.
Okay. Looking at this plan, the roof plan, for instance, are there anything else that's happening on the roof? Any kind of satellite dishes or,
The only thing will be, we're planning on having, and I haven't shown on this roof plan, but you can see it on the elevations, a little skylight above either of those breezeway openings, just to get some more natural light in that.
okay,
Look at the side elevation, Rick, you can see it. There you go, right there. That's the only thing that'll be on.
okay. But
Plumbing vent.
you may have some plumbing vents, but if you can put those in the rear, on the rear side, I don't know where there are probably some existing ones there now somewhere, but for the new, okay. All right, any other extra elevation questions or materials? Okay. All right, let's look at, maybe we look at, well, if you're up here, we can look at signage.
Sure.
You talked a little bit about that.
Last page. There we go. So there's an existing monument sign there with an existing brick base, which you see in this photograph. Our signage guy's not here today, but we are planning on not changing the sign size and just going back with the Adora logo with either a cream or a white background. And I don't think we can currently talk about whether or not we were going to backlight it, but I'm assuming we're going to either backlight it or we'll floodlight it depending on what the regulation allows.
Where is that?
That
Is that North Point in the background of the photo?
To the right,
Put out here.
and that's Rock Mill.
It's kind of tucked in.
Can you even
there.
see it?
You can see it,
You
yeah,
can?
but it is tucked in there.
Yeah.
I think, what if you did the background of the sign the same color as the paint color? Would that make sense? The
Yes.
paint sample that you have? I think that's,
Essentially what we're looking
okay,
for.
all right. I think that ties the building and everything together. So, and then you just have, so you have one monument sign and one building sign?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. All right, any signage questions?
I'm gonna push them a little bit on design, but I'll talk to their side guy about that.
Okay,
I mean, it'll essentially look like that, it just might be designed differently.
okay. All right, let's talk about landscaping then.
Pete Bilson is our landscape architect.
Okay,
I'm Bill, Pete Bilson with Bilson and Associates. Want to talk about the landscaping and kind of generally an overview of what's there now and what I try to do with what's there now and making it something refreshed and kind of help along. But if you're on North Point Parkway, I guess north, it's kind of a wooded area. There's existing detention pond, but it's very wooded there. And there's no real opportunity to do a lot more landscaping there. Along the side of that pond, there's a hedge of clay arrow that's been there, and it's in pretty decent shape. Most of the landscaping there that's existing has been pruned severely, I would say, that it's just been, a hedge trimmer's been gone to everything that's out there, so,
It seems to like crack sometimes.
the frontage along North Point Parkway that we're looking at right now, there's really no grass between the sidewalk and the parking lot. It's got sidewalk and then it's got low junipers that kind of go all the way to the end where there's some ornamental grasses around at the corner. And then behind the junipers, you've got oak trees that are lining the street. And then you've got a row of, I think it's Carissa hollies, and then behind that you've got Yopon hollies. And the parking lot sits about a foot lower than the high point along that landscape area, so it's kind of recessed down.
So can I stop you right there? I'm looking at your drawing and you're not proposing to change anything between on that corner, the existing grass, the shredded mulch, and the juniper is all to remain, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I think we've got a better opportunity there to dress that corner up as part of this site, rather than, there's a little bit of turf and I think that corner can be dressed up more. It's such a prominent spot. Okay, go ahead.
All right, well, my thought when I was out there is that there's already 2 rows of shrubs along the back of the top of the curve, basically. I think the reason that they don't get cut now is because they've just been pruned so much. So I would suggest that they just let them grow a little bit taller. They'll meet the requirement to screen the parking lot, and then supplement between them and the juniper with more ornamental grass that just kind of makes it tied in more to the corner. If you want to dress up that corner a little bit more, I would agree, but my thought was it's kind of shady and under trees and so forth. Add some sod there, or keep the sod there, make sure it's maintained properly, and then add some dark brown mulch in that area that's pine straw instead of pine straw. I think that'll help make that area look a little nicer. But we can add something in that area too, because it is kind of bare just looking at it in this photograph. But I think when the grasses get there, and there is another row of anise that will be put in along there that will get bigger, and it'll wrap that corner as well. So that was my effort to kind of dress that area up and then add the mulch.
On your drawing, they're called ILL?
Yes. So I put a 3rd row of shrubs along that corner, which are a lot bigger shrub, and they'll kind of screen that area from view. But if you can see in this picture here, that white car is probably 2 feet below the landscape area.
Yeah.
So
That corner definitely needs help though.
I think from a code perspective,
Can
But
we,
I would love to see that juniper go away.
Me too.
Can-
I like that juniper.
what is code as far as, there's no code as far as maintenance, but what is code, what as far as goes into place if you're doing the review out there to say, let these grow together, you know, 'cause it's supposed to be a hedge.
It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be growing together, so how do you
Well, there's
plan
some,
to enforce that?
we have two benefits. One, we're gonna have a local owner instead of a national bank that can find no one that's responsible for anything. So we're gonna have a local owner. They're hearing that that's supposed to be a hedge, so we'll make sure that that continues. I think we would just.
Because it only takes once and somebody gets balls them
going.
back up again.
Yeah, and then you got this, so
Right.
it's gonna take a little bit, but I think we could probably, and we'll leave this to the three of you kind of thing, maybe fill in with some smaller plants, not necessarily, because code says 2 foot at a time planting. But that's gonna really look out of place with what's currently there. So if we do smaller ones that are about the same size to grow together maybe,
The Carissa hollies are 2 feet, I measured those. And when I went out there, I went out to see what I was gonna remove from the site. When I went out there, all this landscaping is really, it's pretty good condition actually. It's just been pruned. And so I felt like it would grow in with irrigation, which would probably be renovated out there to put the new landscaping in. And then to supplement what's there with the ornamental grass, which I think will fill in nicely, and it'll go and create a kind of nice, softer effect along North Point Parkway. So that's why I'm proposing that, and then the eaves will be larger, and you won't even see the hollies that are behind it once that grows. So I agree that it needs to be fuller or more full. I think that there's a couple ways we could do that, and I've made an attempt to do that with the grass and the eaves, and then let the existing plant material grow. And I'm not a big fan of junipers either, but when I was out there, the junipers are doing well. And there's a couple areas that are bare, and I've addressed those, filled those in. But if you want to remove that, we can do that as well. I don't know.
I think there's a lot of opportunity to improve this. You're putting a lot into the building, that corner.
Yeah, so there is irrigation currently out there, okay? May not be turned on, but,
Yeah, Brett, I'm okay with the canopy there. But that's the good option, so I know you're putting the Elysium back in as that third row. Yeah, there just needs to be something brought up in that bark, the landscaping, yeah. That all needs to be dressed up.
Just can't walk the same.
You've got a great asset of all the trees that are there, and there is the issue of shade from the trees on that corner, but it does look like you could enhance the geometry there with some sweeps of the bedding of the plants that would enhance the way it is now. With the other things you're talking about.
Pete, how much of that front corner was your thought process impacted by where that monument sign is? To me, I think the monument sign needs to move so that the corner can look better. I don't think you can really see the monument sign great. I mean, I understand that.
We did talk about that, potential for that. I think we were planning on keeping it where it was, so that it was, not spur, but
is that sign, the sign's not on the landscape plan, is it?
It's not, it may not be. It's actually not showing up on a lot of the old civil stuff that we have, so it is, if you zoom in, Brendan, it's kind of in the corner of the parking. Yeah, it's right there.
So if it stays there, so this drawing just doesn't show where the sign is.
I think it's like.
So if it
Yeah,
stays
it's right
there,
where this cursor is.
this landscape just needs to update around that sign and then dress up that corner, you know, to maybe open up views to that sign.
If you want, I can make a suggestion, if you want, I can just focus on a small design for this corner, incorporate the sign in it, make sure that the sign and the landscaping all works together. There's light poles out here, there's utility boxes,
Oh, yeah.
all kind of other things in this corner that are affected, and I didn't want to kind of.
Was there a survey done?
Yes, there's a survey.
There's a survey. Okay.
Well, then, they weren't sure about if they were gonna do, on the monument, lights or internally lit, right? Which y'all not sure.
I don't think we really talked about it yet, so we're open.
So, I mean, especially if you have lights shining up on it, you'd wanna redesign that too.
Yeah, I think most of the things that we put out there are gonna be low anyway.
Yeah.
And they'll
Yeah.
just make, you'll have a background of the Denise, and we keep Denise in that corner, and then if it's something lower, it's not, and remove the junipers. Mainly, I think we removed the pine straw, because I think that's what's not very attractive out there. But I was replacing that with shredded, mulch anyway, which I felt was an upgrade.
I think we might have just made an executive decision, I know it's gonna really mess with, but I think we're gonna move the monument sign, and I think we're probably gonna move it down to this area.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah, that's what
that's
we're
the
talking
main
about.
issue, right?
Yeah. So that'll leave that full corridor there to be all landscaped and look nice, and not have to worry about what's gonna be too tall for the sign and this and that, we'll push it down towards the other end.
How high we can go if we replace it with
You can go up to 10 feet.
Where's right away?
Right away, probably,
It's kind of thicker than.
it's this one. So.
Oh, that's right away.
Yeah, it's out here. So this
Okay.
probably dead junipers
Yeah,
is about where the,
it'll probably be a little bit further back, but
You know what's interesting is on the site plan they have in their package, it shows an existing monument sign down there.
there's like an enter sign, I think.
It says existing monument sign to remain on their drawing.
Yeah, I think there was some
I think there was something.
confusion.
Okay.
Civil drawings as to where it was.
Okay.
But I think this area, this is the, let's go to 21.
So look, a quick question on like when somebody's dropping off their infant, where are they coming from and how are they leaving? What do you see as the entry? I'm just kind of,
You have some site plan?
Well, you can pull up this, or get.
so I know where, because that,
Either way, yeah. I think they're coming in from the northern end of North Point Parkway, Plan North there.
so,
Typically, and they're gonna be coming into this parking lot here, feeding in front of the building, and then probably coming out on Rock Mill.
oh, okay.
Except for those who would be coming from the Holcomb Bridge side, would be coming north on Parkway, and turning in maybe.
So you'll have some cross traffic coming in. Okay. If you'll speak into the microphone, please.
Daycare is not a typical school where you would consider a typical drop-off and pick-up. The range of hours are from 6:30 to 6 p.m. So parents drop off anytime from 6:30 to 9:30 in the morning. So you would do the legs back at one time, car ride, and come and just drop off. So they will come and just park somewhere, take time and pick their, child into the building, go into the classroom, and drop off there and talk with the teacher and leave. So it takes like a process for the parents to drop off and pick up. I know the children.
Okay, so it's not like a kiss and ride or whatever you want to call that, where you,
Not within fencing time.
Yeah.
I don't think they can there.
shoving.
And it's a 3-hour window.
Yes, no, I'm just kind of trying to,
Yeah, no,
There's no car.
okay, I just had, all right. All right,
Yes, I
But-
think the traditional parking lot use kind
Well, I was just trying to think too, where the sign, where the monument sign is helps kind of
Yeah,
figure out where the entrance is almost.
yeah, I still think, and they can do two, so they could do another one, and they may, you know, elect to sometime in the future, maybe do another one down at this other, Rock Mill side, but I really think this is a better location up near here, to do a monument sign, and then that leaves us all this. It's also might give them a little better view corridor too, you know, you're not looking through a monument sign, there's, you know, if you saw, there's some stuff out there, they got utility poles and utility boxes and stuff like that, so I think it'd be better down there, and I think they're amenable to it.
We'll work on that. We'll work on the sign locations, the landscaping around the sign. We'll make sure that there's no obstruction with utility boxes and poles and things like that. We'll bring something to Brett that kind of shows what our intent is.
Okay.
And then, I guess, just going on with everything, there's two playground areas that will both have fences around it. Vicki said that they're considering an opaque fence 7 feet high, which should screen the playground equipment, most of it.
Is there a fence layout yet?
There's
It is shown on the plan as preliminary right now, because we don't have a full playground design yet. You can see it on that plan there.
I see it on the landscape plan. It's kind of the area that's hatched.
Right, that would be either sod or turf.
And
Okay,
from the
so,
playground equipment that we've seen and what the owner has shown us, it's kind of a dark green with beige color equipment. It's not red, not yellow, not blue. It's,
Brett, what is required for screening playground equipment? Where does that come from?
It's not,
Probably more of a safety
Again,
thing.
you know where I'm at with this whole thing, that it's a daycare, you know, God forbid you see any play equipment within there.
yeah, there's not a hard requirement to screen it like you do, mechanical equipment and stuff like that. It's,
Right.
I think what we look at is more that it blends, if the site doesn't, you know, they didn't stop all the trees and put in this, you know, they continue the landscape plan and put the stuff inside it.
Yep.
And I'll ask the owner this question, what is your requirement for views in and out of a playground area? You know, as far as, I don't know, safety or people lurking, or what are your requirements for that?
I think like safety is number one priority for that age group, definitely a playground, but also to have an elegant look is also important when you have fence. So I have an existing daycare like in that one. There's aluminum, like some 6 foot aluminum that is like a blackish.
ornamental
Yeah.
metal fence.
So picket.
Picket, yes.
Okay.
That's their existing.
But you're doing a solid screen of some sort,
I
but
think they would rather do the same, the ornamental metal, but we felt like we were required to do an opaque fence.
So where I'm at with the opaque fence, I'm assuming it's wood, is over time, the wood fences just break down either, or you continue to stain them or something like that. I'm trying to find this medium in there. You're screening the heck out of it anyway. So, and we haven't seen a proposal, we haven't seen what that fence will look like.
I think we,
don't know if the city's open
we
to
need to see
something other
that.
than a solid wood 7-foot.
no, absolutely. I think it blends a little bit more to the residential look that's out there with the apartments and
Absolutely.
stuff right next door, to be that
Right.
ornamental.
That's why I wanna know what his preference is on this too, because there is no,
I think that's something this board though needs to see, come back to us and see.
I think that's more elegant, to have a
Yeah, that's
black metal and an opaque wood. Opaque wood is so residential.
Well, I mean, on a commercial site, you put that opaque wood up to me, and it makes it now, it's kind of down the hill, it's a junkyard.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we need to see what they're planning to do in the playground equipment. Also, I'm looking at, a little concerned, they've got the HVAC units all in the playground area too, so we need to make sure those are safety issue. you know, how you get in and out there as well, so. But I think we just need to see that so that, because that's gonna be kind of a predominant feature there on that one, on the North Point Parkway. You're gonna be able to see some of that, so. And whether it's 6 feet, 7 feet, or 8 feet, and is it picket, is it metal, is it wood, is it solid, is it open?
What's
is
your
it-
preference for height of, what, that fence there looked like it's probably 5?
This was smaller, this is dividing between two playgrounds, we have 6 foot, you know, our parents. But
Is
we
it
can go higher.
Flat rail, I'm sure it's not a spiky rail.
Yes.
To go back to landscape plan just a little bit, Pete, there was just some question because of I mean, it's maintenance, there's trees and this and that, but there's a pretty good amount of grass shown right here. Is that like future older kids play area that it's left grass, or could that just be incorporated into the landscape and then they don't have maintenance and stuff like that as far as mowing the grass every week and this and that?
I'm sure they'll have maintenance anyway on every week, wherever you go, to cut grass. I just felt like it would green up that area instead of having more mulch and more pine straw. So
Do you think it's a viable area for,
I don't think
Probably a
it's gonna
certain-
be used for play. I think it's just, the way I thought was you're gonna come in that way, it's kind of a nice area to have grass up and green. There's probably more sun there than most places on site.
so they can't keep grass alive?
I
Was
just
kind of the
left
point.
it as grass.
Okay.
And what is the grass?
Pardon me?
What is the grass?
It'll just be Bermuda. But behind that, I've got a row of hollies, large hollies that'll screen that fence or partially screen that fence and the playground from, for a lot of reasons. I think that it should be screened from the road, for the playground and for the views in. So I did that, and then I just enhanced the landscaping around the front of the building. I've tried to incorporate as many native plants along the front of the building as I could according to the ordinance. And then on the other side of the building, I've gone back to the ornamental hollies, some arborvitae around the dumpster area, and then along the playground on this side, I enhanced some of the landscape in there because it's another entrance in, and then along the playground, I put the larger hollies, but I put lower hollies in the middle. And the reason I did that is because this is kind of a wooded site, so if you're coming from Rottnell Road this way, you can't really see much in there anyway. It's kind of a fully wooded site as you approach, so I didn't think it was necessary to fully screen that area. But it's partially screened. And then there's the woods that you'll be, you'll see that as you approach.
What is the dumpster enclosure? What are the materials for that? Is that gonna be brick?
If we don't have a design for it yet, but it will match the same design that we have for the building, so it'll be the same water table base and the same brick above to match the existing and new building.
And the door is just black metal?
We don't have a design, but we've done in different ways. We can do black metal, yes.
Okay. Brett, quick question for you. So now that this is an existing bank building of 4,000 square feet or whatever it is, they're adding on more building. Looks like they have about 33 parking spaces. Do they have enough parking for a facility of this size?
I don't know. That would have to get evaluated in their LDP.
Okay. Yeah,
I
have
would
you,
assume their civil's taking that into consideration.
have you got,
From operational perspective, we will need about 20 parking spots for our staff. And the rest for our parents, I think that will be more than enough because at the time, with our experience, most we have 5, 6 parents drop-offs and pickups. So like we have 20 with our staff and 5, 6, and then we'll have some additional to make.
okay. What is the parking requirement for, you don't know? Okay. Just curious, all right.
I think it would be 1 for 200,
1 per 200? Holy smokes.
It shouldn't be that much for a daycare. Unless it's,
That's 50, they need 50 spaces in.
We have had conversations.
Okay, just making sure.
Civil guys, I know they're not here today, but, we did have plans that had added parking spaces, and after consulting with our owners and our civil engineers, we elected to back off of that, so I can get an answer to that question.
Just want to make sure we're not tearing up anything to put some more pavement in to get parking
No,
spaces.
we're actually, it's the opposite, I didn't mention that, but we're taking out quite a bit of impervious paving, and going back with landscaping, so we think that we're doing, well with that.
Okay.
So all we ask, this entire piece around where the new building is, that's all asphalt, because there's like 8 or 9 teller lanes, if you guys get a chance to go by there, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah, solid. They talked about paint, they talked about it in the painted metal doors. Okay. Okay, and the only other thing I saw was, there was a photometrics done on the site lighting. So are you changing the site lighting, or did you just go out there and have somebody do the calculations on what's there?
Our guys have done calculations and a plan. I'm not privy to exactly what they're changing. My assumption is that they're gonna repair and or replace anything that is, needing to be repaired or replaced. They've done a light count, I guess, I don't know, look at the lunar schedule, if you don't mind, Brett, running one, see if they're proposing anything there. Existing light pole, proposed wall mount, so I don't think we're adding any poles.
Okay.
I think the main thing was to make sure we had adequate lighting in the playground areas. I know that as a commercial building existing, it's fairly well lit. I'm not sure exactly whether or not the foot candles match what is required, but I'm sure that they
Yeah,
should.
it's different.
Yeah.
It just said parking lot lighting shall be mounted at 25 feet, so that's what kind of, I see existing poles, but I didn't know whether that was new or not. All right. Okay. Anything else? We've got exterior elevations and materials, we've got signage, we've got landscaping, we've got site lighting. We've talked about the dumpster, the playground equipment, and the screening. Okay. All right, does somebody want to start crafting some motions for this applicant?
Mr. Chairman, regarding
Okay.
DRB 220015, Adora Daycare. Motion to approve the elevation of materials as presented with the following clarifications. The brick for the addition will match the brick of the existing building with the final match to be approved by staff. The dumpster enclosure materials will match the building materials with a black metal door.
We need
And
to
the-
reference the mortar.
Yeah, and the brick and the mortar to match. Thank you.
Okay.
Not be good.
And the motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right, motion by Mr. Swing, second by Ms. Rocco. Any questions?
Dumpster doors, they need to be opaque, right?
Okay,
Opaque and decorative?
doesn't take that.
That's not decorative? Okay.
As long as you're,
You just said metal, so
Yeah.
it's in the code, so, okay.
all right, any other questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed? No opposition. Motion passes 7-0. All right.
So just so I'm clear with that motion,
All right, next
I am,
Yeah.
the painting that was submitted this morning, that's off for right now.
Correct.
We're looking at a brick match and
Yes.
going with that.
Yeah, that'd be a fallback for a further discussion of the brick match.
So if we're gonna do, if painting's gonna be there, we want another.
We gotta come back, yeah.
Yep.
We gotta come back with some other stuff, the playground stuff.
Yes.
too.
Yep.
Yeah, and if we end up having to go the paint route, I think maybe something with a little more sort of contrast to the stucco would probably look a little better.
All right. I neglected to ask for any public comment. So is there any public comment about this application? All right, there be none. Okay, we can move forward with some more motions.
Did we vote?
Yes, we did, 7-0, all set.
I missed the vote. Did I vote?
You did. You made the motion and you voted. You're doing well, Frank, that's good.
It's just me that did that.
All right, so we got that.
Too close to you now. It's contagious.
Do we need to separate the landscape and the signage?
No, you can do that together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty simple.
Let me I make a motion regarding PRB 220015, that we approve the landscape as presented with two following stipulations, that each corner is enhanced to dress up that appearance of the site, and the northern entry corner will include the sign lines.
Will be moved.
It will be moved to be located in the northern entry point. In the motion.
Second.
Okay. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Owens, a second by Ms. Rhodes. All right, now we can have some discussion.
I myself would rather see it come back. There's a lot going on between the sign movement, the corner, the fence. It can come back as part of the playground equipment, because we have to look at that as well. I'm not exactly comfortable yet with it.
I guess we did have a lot of discussion about moving things or what we're trying to do there.
And
so.
just say enhance, I mean, what does that mean exactly?
Okay, all right.
Good to see that.
Well, if that's the case, then we can do it one of two ways. We either vote and don't approve the motion, or Mr. Owens can retract his motion, and the second gets retracted as well, so.
Oh, I'm just one board member that
I would just
would like
vote
to see it
on
come back.
and then
I
have a
agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's vote on it then. All right.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments about that motion? All right. So thinking, I see everybody thinking. All right.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Kate.
Can I make one more comment?
Yes.
With the North Point changes that are coming, it'd be kind of cool if they could, might be cheesy, but even like a bench or just something to enhance that corner because of what's right across the entryway. Just think where you're driving, there's a lot of improvement that could happen right there.
What's across the entryway?
I don't know, it's like a big building. There was a picture of it. They'll know what I'm talking about. I think it's an office building. There's a big sign right on the other side.
Are you talking about the other side of North Point Park?
No, whatever the side road is.
Rock Bridge,
Yes.
Rock Mill.
Yeah, wherever that building is with a sign. It's a pretty nice looking entry. I think there's something you could do on that side, that corner.
Well, if you look at across from North Point Parkway, there's like a kinetic sculpture or something that happens in there too,
Yeah.
so it's kind of a
And if
focal
he's looking
feature.
for kind of an elegant look overall, something that draws you in as you're driving by.
Yeah, on the other side of Rock Mill is a little strip of apartments right there.
There was a picture
corner.
that Brett had up that showed a sign with some landscape and it was kind of built up.
On the other
Yeah,
side of
looks
Rock
nice.
Mill.
Yes.
Building over there.
Anyways, that's just a comment, so we can vote.
Okay. All right,
Yeah, I think they're permanent.
Yeah, there are
there's
apartments.
some apartments.
Yeah, ththese are
Something
apartments
tall.
here, right there.
There's an office building behind the apartment.
It's an Alpharetta skyscraper.
But this is a row of apartments right here.
Yeah, there's some apartments right on North Point
Right on North
Parkway,
Point.
and then right behind it is an office
an
building,
office
which is taller.
That's the skyscraper
I
I was
would-
talking about.
I would tend to let staff push that agenda on
Yep.
corner
There's
enhancements.
some sort of
if they
kinetic
want
thing
benches
like
or seating
there.
or whatever.
I mean, you're right, it's an interesting corner that could, maybe get some hardscape right in the corner with I don't know if there's a bar stop or anything right there on that property, but the corner could get something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a requirement, but yeah, we'll talk to them about that.
Okay, well, let's vote on the motion. We do have a motion to approve the landscaping as presented with each of the corners in hand. So, all right, I'll call for a vote on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. All right, so 1, 2, okay? All opposed, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. So motion fails, motion does not pass. I think the key here is just to have them work on a few things and come back and share that with us, so.
So I'll take a stab at it then.
Okay.
Regarding DRB 220015, Adora Daycare landscaping, that we defer per comments today, which include movement of the monument sign, adding accent planting to the Rock Mill North Point corner. Fence design needs to be generated and presented. End of motion.
Second. Holly got me.
Okay. A motion by Mr. Corkle, a second by Ms. Palmer.
And I didn't know whether to include in the motion or not, but the playground equipment needs to come in as well, so
Okay. Any other comments or questions about the motion to defer the landscaping? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed? 1 opposed. All right, motion passes 6-0. 6-1, sorry. All right. Anything else? Site lighting is kind of existing. Signage, yeah, we got signage to do.
the only thing is wall packs going on the building, but that's not, is that sconces? Do we need to look at that lighting?
I mean, there was 2 of them, so. Not really.
Are they twin in the front door maybe, or?
It was just intended to get more illumination in the playground area, but they can be decorative.
They,
They're in the back?
They're in the back, yeah.
you may not even see them if you've got fencing and screening and all that, so, all right.
Mr. Chairman, DRB 220015, I make a motion to approve the building signage and the monument signage, with the monument signage background being the cream color that matches the building in the motion.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Ms. Palmer, second by Ms. Rocco. You did. All right, any questions or comments about the building and the monument signage motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition, motion passes 7-0. Signage. That's what I call well. I call it. Yeah, I think I'm good. Okay, I think we're done, right? Anything else?
Wait, the new site lighting or
No, because it's existing.
existing, right?
Playground equipment. All right, so, all right, thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys again. Phew, okay, it's 11:30. All right, next is Bocado Burger. Are you here? Bocado Burger, yes, come on down, please. All right, got that, got this. Okay, welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Brian Lewis. I'm the owner of Avocado at Avalon. And the reason for my visit today is we're intending to update the color of our structure.
Oh, it's all there, okay. Oh. Okay, well, it's all the same.
Great. So what I have on the screen is kind of current color schemes and the building as it is today. Although this kind of interior space is it's under review for ourselves, but isn't current. But I was more presenting the colors of the structure. And so in this presentation, we're just presenting
Samples are being, yep.
Hopefully everybody got a sample of that.
Yes.
Great. So, there it is.
All right, so you want to take the lattice that runs all the way up on the outdoor patio area, I call it. You want to remove that down to 4 feet? Okay.
Where's that?
That's on the, kind of,
Currently, if you look at the first shot, it almost goes all the way up. It's not fully to the roof line of the exterior.
Okay, so that's what's being circled, Brett, that's you?
Yes, yeah. So if you look at the two, you can see,
Okay.
And really there, it's just to kind of bring in a little bit more visual appeal. I think the wood itself is, as you just mentioned with your last person, that the wood is starting to show wear and age. And so we're hoping that it's kind of the space. Really we want to present the refreshed look of the building structure itself. And really to expand and emphasize the historic nature of the area and the space and buildings around it.
Wouldn't you want to go a little higher to block the traffic view?
I'm sorry?
Wouldn't you want to go a little higher to block the view of the traffic? I mean, at 4 feet, diners, aren't they going to
Well,
see it over the?
personally right now, I think there's like I want people to see people, because people naturally draw in people, right?
I agree.
So, by currently, people don't even know if we're even open, if there are people on our property at that point. We're kind of, I like to say, it's sort of stepsister of the whole development,
Yeah.
because all the energy does stay in the interior of Avalon, and looking at related concepts in the development, we're on the lower end of sales, and I think that really has to do with, oddly, when I originally took the space over, I thought it was, hey, I'm in the corner of the main entrance. This is brilliant, I have a parking lot in front of me, that's great. But what happens is oftentimes people sit in my parking lot and then they walk up and see the development.
Yeah, you're not in kind of the walking traffic
Yeah,
area.
and so we're just trying to get a little bit more visibility and appeal to draw people in.
So activate that whole area.
Yeah, I think so, for sure. So really, it is about seeing people.
You want the, people on the outside to see there's people on the patio.
Right. And I think it's actually, it's nice little landscape right there, so there isn't, it's not that you're just purely looking at cars driving through.
So, I get it, and I get where you're coming from, and you're a restaurant, I'm guessing you got hit hard.
Oh, yeah.
But personal opinion, and this is just personal opinion, I think you have one of the coolest buildings in all of Avalon.
Yeah, it's a great structure.
So in my opinion, painting it this super bright color almost does it a disservice.
I think this on the screen is far brighter than the actual color.
But even this color, like the whole building going that, I'm just wondering if you could do something else creative with it and draw attention in another way versus painting over your brick, which is very unique, such as maybe your awnings, maybe your sign, doing something different with your sign, maybe doing something different with the patio area. I love Bocado Burger. I hope you do well and stay there. But that's just my personal opinion, like even looking at the pictures presented, the building is beautiful. So if there's just another way to draw attention to it versus paint, now that's just my opinion, everyone else might feel different, but that's.
I think I would say if there's anything I wanted to stand out, and I think we kind of follow suit. If you look at the backdrop between the towers there and the actual development, we kind of blend in, and I really am trying to stand out. And so I would say that's part of our motivation, because in the tune of probably 25 to 30% is a difference of similar concepts in the upper development. And I am certain I don't know what that is or the reasoning behind it, but it's just the truth. And so we are trying to stand out a little bit.
I did have the same thought though, that I like the way your building looks.
Yeah, I think it's a great structure,
And
for sure.
I just think if you go down to Haynesbridge and you see Shake Shack, it's this.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, you're not Shake Shack.
No.
You're a part of Avalon, which is something different. And,
The
because
Shake Shack is a little bit more yellow, would you say?
well, this
Yellow.
almost has more of like a retro, higher end feel, which kind of goes with Avalon versus a strip mall. So it is, and like your windows are amazing. I mean, it's just a beautiful, I think there's something you could do to draw more attention to the building itself with some design. I'm just not sure painting it this alabaster color is going to achieve that. I mean, do you want to blend, it's almost like you blend in with the actual apartments that are right behind you. You know, yeah, I can see where the lighter would stand out from the business or the office buildings. Sure, it's going to pop from there, but then all of a sudden you're going to blend kind of with the condos and apartments behind you. So that's just
Yeah, so,
What was your thought on the, I guess, the part that's, I think it's stained wood, I'm not sure what the material
Yeah,
is.
so it would be the same color.
Okay,
So
so
the
As-
same entire building, that is the intent.
so yeah, and
I think the texture of the brick, it maintains that sort of warehouse feel. I do believe that it's really would allow, people are gonna notice it, that there's a change. Even just with the signage change, people may notice that, may not. But I think, again, we're trying to create a standout. And I think the colors of the space of that building are just, the wood needs to be painted, it's fading, we're trying to prevent any damage to the wood. The brick, I think, it's a classic look, if you look at classic structures, whether it's plantations or warehouses, this is a classic color, and it has time, it's not.
Is your sign currently painted on the building?
It is,
Okay.
yes.
so,
I concur with Katie's direction in that discussion about the boldness of the brick you have now. There's a richness and a realness about that I see getting lost by painting the brick.
Okay.
I see an opportunity there to take, you've got great fenestration on that building. Those windows are bold and they really make a statement.
Sure.
Have you considered putting accents in those windows by using color in there that would brighten that up and give it more life? Even taking
I
as
like
opposed to
the
the back.
windows as they are, personally. I would say, if the brick, certainly understand that here, that's not a desire. But what about the base of the wood?
whitewashes
portion of the
everything.
facility?
So I'd love to propose something. So Alpharetta, there's a lot that's coming and going to be happening in Alpharetta with art and whatnot. I'm wondering if you could do, or would be interested in doing, like an art design to show that you're a burger joint. I'm not giving you an idea of exactly what to paint on there, and I'm not an artist. But if you did something with your logo and had an artist draw a burger or something along those lines, working with the art committee, no?
Bingo.
Stay away from food.
Okay, well, something, work with the art committee, but something,
A mural, a
something
mural.
there, and then you,
Are you saying on the brick? or-
on the brick where the logo is now, so you're driving down Old Milton Parkway, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's great, there's the artwork. It would play into the whole style of your building, and also you could change the trim color to something different, lighten it up or whatnot, whatever, and then make your patio a lighter color as well.
Yep.
I would be way more of a fan of that
Okay,
myself.
I like that. How about the wood alabaster white?
I'm not opposed to that.
What'd you
I guess
say? What did you say?
The trim,
Wood,
The trim?
the wood being alabaster.
the wood on the patio, the wood on, so we have, part of the building is brick, part of the building is wood.
Do you have a,
What about, like the windows and the awnings in the wood, in the windows, that'd be the only thing.
Or what about even cornice?
So what about the
Yeah,
patio
okay,
area
yeah.
would be lighter?
I think. you just
Right,
said
but
that.
not the cornice and the windows.
Oh.
Would you leave the awnings and the windows and the cornice as is?
Maybe after that.
If we kept the brick as is,
Yeah.
they'll send your screens.
We can take out the trees.
Well, I think,
I like those trees. They do hide a lot, but I do like them. We get a tremendous amount of sunlight through those front windows, but.
Sure, yeah, a lot of different ways to sign it.
Could that?
I think what you certainly need to do is whatever the mortar color of the brick is, I think that's really gonna be, if you wanna do the wood paint the wood a color, and I don't know whether the alabaster matches the mortar color, but that's how you would pull that color out then.
Or I think there's
Help complement.
some single bricks, I mean, it's a multi-tonal brick, it looks almost like there is a creamy brick in there. I'm not sure from this picture, that color too.
It's kind of beigey, it looks like.
Yeah, whatever that light color brick.
Then you'd have to do something with the sign.
Yeah, you're,
These big evergreens are part of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not great
But
for
they-
visibility, right?
But they flank the thing, so what, you were gonna paint this white as well?
Yes.
And are you proposing to still paint that, just leave the brick, or you
Yes,
having
I
just
would,
the
if,
wood?
if the brick is not accepted, then we would, the goal is to do the wood structure.
I'm not opposed to
So,
that.
so this red
Yes.
part, you would paint white?
Yes.
And paint the wood under the patio white?
Yes.
Could they do a painting on that wood sign as well as on,
Well, they'd have to, because I mean, it says Picado Burger on it.
right, but they're gonna paint over that?
But yeah, I mean, I could fix that. And I like the idea of some sort of mural with our logos.
And I think you could do both if the city approved. One on
well,
Old
you
Milton,
can't
one
put
on
a,
the
you
entrance.
can't put a logo in a mural, so you have to,
Well, it would be the same.
Technically, you could, as long as the part of the mural that we would have to consider signage wouldn't go over the square footage. What's around it would be art. It'd be, we'd have to figure that out. But I do see some benefit there. You're not Shake Shack. You're not the typical, the craft burger. You're a little,
You're the bougie burger.
Bougie, but
so,
Thank you.
yeah, so maybe bring a little of that midtown, a little,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, there's
kind of look out.
yeah, as a part of this renovation, we're probably dropping the burger name, and we're gonna be Bocado, and we're adding to our menu a little bit, but maintaining the burger centric, but just expanding our small plate offering. So, but yeah.
I really like the idea of trying to do some exciting graphics on the
Okay.
walls.
yeah,
good
that-
comment.
that'd get attention.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. But I would need to bring the graphic back.
Well, you and I'd have to talk about that. We'll have to figure out what we're doing, whether it's an art piece and we're leaving the structure alone, or we're doing some stuff with the structure and adding an art piece. So we need to figure that out, because art doesn't come with it.
Okay, so if I bring the graphic, I can present that to you, that could be,
We'll figure that out.
we'll
This
figure
grant
that
needs
out.
to go.
As far as the structure, the wood portion of the structure, that,
If you want to
I would like to
continue,
remain that as.
can you zoom in, does that have a cap parapet? Does that have a parapet?
yeah, so if you want to talk about keeping or
So
doing
we'll keep
this
the
part of
brick
this
and all of that, and I like
So
the,
does he keep the
the
parapet?
idea of the art portion, because I think that would be super cool, especially coming from.
Just looks like a cap, like an aluminum cap.
The
So he's keeping that black, I guess, or whatever that color is.
maybe
I would think
closer
it
to
would match the windows, yeah.
a brick that's embedded, or, but I think that alabaster white is actually.
Can you go down the street?
Yeah, you
When
may-
you see, when
You
you
may do
see
something with a little more gray tone in it. That's pretty yellow. There's a yellow kind of tint to it, but you can find a good one that works.
let me see.
Yeah, and nice.
So that's brick.
Okay, so do we need to?
So just hang on, some questions, sorry. So if you paint on Old Milton Parkway, where the Bocado Burger sign is, so that's the vertical wood slats.
Yes,
So you're proposing to paint that, the alabaster,
yes.
okay? And then when you turn the corner, on the right-hand side, go the other way, I'm sorry, go south, Brett, or go
Old
east. Go east on Old Milton, and then look back. Yeah, right, I'm trying to get around.
Go up a little
Hey,
further.
that's all
It wraps.
wood.
No, it's not,
There you
it's
go.
brick.
There you go.
Oh.
See,
Yeah, well,
so then-
wood portion. The brick would stay.
the brick stays,
The wood
okay?
goes.
And then how about the parapet cap? What are you doing with that? That, it looks like it's a black,
It is black. I mean, I would like to,
because that matches the window storefront.
yeah, I think that's fine.
I'd keep it black.
I'd keep it black,
Yeah,
because it'd be nice accent. It'll pull it all together.
yeah, I think so.
But, and you gotta do something with your sign, even if
Yeah,
you
the
don't
sign
do
would
it.
be redone.
You'd have to change, because otherwise it'd be white on white.
That's where you would do it art.
Or you could do art.
That's what
Yeah.
and I'll present that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold that alabaster up again, is it? Is it?
I mean, that's what we're talking about, is he really needs to compare it with the mortar. It's got
Are
more-
we proposing the graphic on both faces?
Yes.
Okay.
And it
It's
might be
got some-
something
I guess
a little
that's got
different,
some-
but he'll work with
I guess that's, got some more
Probably okay. It's
beige.
It's muted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll just be auto?
As far as the trees, it goes.
So, that, and then that portion be the patio area.
He's gonna drop this down to 4 feet. and
I do
below
that sign
will be white.
anyways, because I don't prefer.
White alabaster.
Go back to his
Take-
presentation here,
Yeah,
this here.
Okay. All right, any other comments or questions for the applicant this morning?
Just to clarify again, on the patio, paint, all of that the same, any wood painted? Okay.
You're not showing the structure part, just the wood slats on the patio.
We would still do the interior patio the same.
What do you consider the interior patio?
Well, all that's wood inside.
As far as the
And it's all the
posts,
same color right now.
So these columns, for example.
Yes.
Oh, now there, that's,
this underneath, all that's gonna be white? 'Cause that's not what this one shows.
Alabaster.
Yeah, my architect too.
So the graphics are off. This graphic's not quite right.
It's
You
not
planned on
perfect.
everything in here was gonna be white.
Yes.
the roof, is that a dark metal roof?
It is,
Or cover? And that'll stay that way?
yes.
Yeah, I think that would go good with the
Yeah.
dark metal around the top or everything
Yeah.
else.
I do think that the painting that light's gonna give him what he's looking for, is,
Painted
as far as
the
bright.
wood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the red.
I guess, what else is wood in that patio area? Because if it's wood, it gets painted alabaster. Are the columns wood?
They are, yes.
So he's painting the columns too.
And the lattice?
The last, yes.
So, okay. So pretty much everything except the roof.
It's almost like now you're gonna have 2 white blocks from this corner. If we go back to here,
Yeah.
back out in the intersection here.
Currently, all of it's the same color, so it's all red right now, let's call it. So, and that's the column.
So you're gonna have this brown brick structure in the center with 2 white
Those are white.
flanks.
Yeah.
I didn't know if this helped y'all, like.
That's,
envision
yeah,
that,
that's
'cause
where,
This is like a.
but you're gonna have your roof that's darker, that
This
matches.
is dark, this
On-
is dark.
No, but it's a wood structure underneath, so that gets painted white. So what you'll see is white.
You mean the ceiling?
Is this white?
Is the
The
ceiling
ceiling is wood.
So that-
I
Yeah.
think that needs to stay dark.
Yeah.
It's hard to really
Well,
say,
the ceiling isn't, they just have wood columns that are
See, that's,
leaning rafters that are,
So you can see the metal roof
yes.
from underneath, and that'll stay
That'll stay.
dark, so it's just the structure.
Yes.
so again, going back to Brett's thing, where what you showed in the original package, you had the horizontal slats were white, but nothing else was painted, the alabaster, excuse me. And now that's all being painted alabaster.
The beams and, yeah, I guess we're trying to just say that.
The beams, the post, and the lattice.
Whatever,
I think.
Yeah,
it's-
see, that's what was,
all the wood is red, we would be turning that to the alabaster.
if you did your ceiling underneath there, dark versus light, that would really help from the cobweb disaster.
Tired of the landscape.
Like white is gonna show everything, where dark would blend, I would
especially if
probably-
you got,
So the cross beam, you're saying keep dark,
The ceiling is dark, and then you're still gonna get what you're looking for as far as attention drawing from white, but it's gonna need murals and signs to break up that wall of white.
So I missed what you were just saying on the patio. So
So
don't paint the patio white?
If all the ceiling was dark,
Just keep the ceiling.
The ceiling
So the
dark.
posts and the
Yep.
lattice could be white.
yeah.
I would keep the post dark.
Yeah,
I would make the post, the black, just to make them go away.
yeah,
And then the fencing around it white.
the lattice.
The lattice white.
If that happens, are you agreeable to that?
You're gonna come back and be like, you guys are amazing, I love it.
That's what everybody, that's what everybody says, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Does somebody want to craft a motion that we can? Oh, before you do, let me ask for any public comment on this application. Any public comment?
Also have
Tell you what you got.
Okay, should I
All
try
right.
this?
Give it a shot.
I think you need to.
Mr. Chairman, in regards to DRB 220016 for Bocado Burger, I would like to make a motion that we do not accept the painted brick building as presented, but we propose that the wood parts of the building that are red be painted a lighter color. I would love,
Are we going to say alabaster? Okay. The alabaster color, oh gosh, I'd love to propose that you find something that matches close to the mortar, maybe with a tiny bit more gray tone versus yellow, but would they have to bring that back? I'm rambling. Would they have to bring that back?
This isn't.
Maybe you start over, or,
Yeah, you gotta pick one or the other.
Alex's
Right or
finger
wrong.
started heating up.
We're in mid-motion here, so.
mm-hmm,
Should I start over? Okay. Start
one,
over.
all right,
Now we're not in mid-motion.
No,
Okay.
Restart. Okay.
all right, she's going to retract what she started, so you'll,
So,
okay.
I would like to make a new motion in regards to 220016 Bocado Burger, that we do not accept the painted brick chart that was proposed. And we do propose painting the red wood sections of the building in the alabaster color, and leave the under part of the roof on the patio as well as the post, paint that the dark color to match the roof and cornice of the building. And work with staff or the art committee on creating artwork / sign. End of motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Rocco. I heard Mr. Corkle make the second, so give Pat credit. All right, now we can have some discussion on the motion.
What about painting the lattice?
Pardon?
What about painting the lattice?
And lowering it.
I didn't say anything about lower, but that is red right now. So I said what's red now would be painted the alabaster color, except for the ceiling and the posts.
Okay.
So,
So that includes the lattice.
so.
We're good with lowering that lattice.
Because they're not gonna keep any red. But I didn't say anything about lowering lattice, so.
I think it's, well, that's been discussed, so that's what,
There you go.
That's what they proposed.
all right. Any other comments or questions about the motion?
We didn't mention anything about the signage, mural.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
They work
Work
with staff.
staff
and
or
art
the-
committee.
Or-
Which motion was that?
It was
was-
in there.
That was the last piece.
By that time, it's done, yeah.
Yeah, I might have glazed over with it.
Okay. Gee.
That was the messiest motion in DRB history.
No, it's a,
We got there.
okay, any other comments or questions about the motion? All right, there being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. See, everybody understood your motion.
Apparently.
So, okay, very good, Brian. Thank you for your time today. Okay. All right, let's see, we're closing in on 12 o'clock. Are the folks for the gathering, Alpharetta here? You're here. They woke up.
Wake up.
All right, Savita folks are here. And the gentleman in the back, are you with Regions Bank? Yes, yes, okay. All right, I'm trying to figure, we're supposed to take a lunch recess from 12 to 12:30, so we're trying to figure out.
If you want to do it quick, I'm fine with that.
Do you want
What's that?
angry or not angry board?
Oh, food is here.
The gathering's gonna take a little while.
Yes, I think it is. Okay, I'm going to propose that we take our 30-minute recess right now to get recharged and regenerated and hit the ground running. So it's 11:55, so let's get back here at 12:25, ready to go, okay? 12:25, recess. Thank you.
If I was running a meeting, we'd be done by now.
Yeah. All right, I'll change places with you. Oh, my God. Ready? Okay, let's end our recess this afternoon and get going, get started with our next applicant, The Gathering Alpharetta. You're here, come on up or come on down, please. Make sure you introduce yourselves this afternoon and give us an overview of what we have in our packet today, please.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Matt Brock, Brockville Homes. This is Tyler Aaron's Landscape Group. We're here to present the design standards book for West Morrison Park and now The Gathering. So we've renamed our project. Just because of some time limits, I hope it's okay if we skip forward a few slides because he does have a hard stop to deal with children. So we're going to jump forward at the rest. Just so Tyler can start.
And to that point, I think that page 13 and 14, basically, we're starting, or one more, what we've included in the plan book is just a general overview of some of the textures, colors that we're anticipating to be located on site. This happens to be tree species example. We can go through all these individually, but this is the texture. We've got geckos in there. We've got American elms. We've got oaks. We have hornbeam, southern magnolia, star magnolia. We've got some Armstrong maple in there, big hollies, eastern redbud, cornuscoria, all the typical materials you'll see in there. This is, and again, this is not an exhaustive palette, but this currently, the images you're going to see in here are very consistent with what we have in our tree replacement documentation. The bulk of what we are representing in our tree replacement plan, as well as a lot of our sample homes that are in the DRD package, which you already have, are indicative of the plant buffers and also the yard materials that you'll see in these examples. So in the shrubs, there is a lot of green because we are utilizing a lot of, if you've seen the architecture, which you will see, they're very modern, very linear, a lot of whites, a lot of clean palettes. So a lot of these front yards are going to be edged at least on one side to format to create these personalized yards because of tight proximities. We're using white flowering hydrangea, limelights, barba. We're using, once we get in shade, we're moving into PG and things like that. But you can see in here, we've got green globe, soft touch hollies, blue cascade stilliums, gold moss, sunshine lacustrum, things of that nature, which, and then we have camellias, and we will have some loving azaleas, fashion, encore, things of that nature.
So there's a requirement for hedges, right?
Yeah, there was the one,
Condition.
and we changed the one condition. Mr. Cornwell,
Yes, we did.
you changed the one condition, along Haynesbridge Road to have that real formal thing. It had the columns.
Right.
And we changed that to all hedge and stuff. So yeah, there's some pretty formal areas
That's
of,
when Michael and Kathy showed up almost immediately.
yeah, they heard it.
Well, I think we all
Okay.
agree that, given the space we had to work with, and the fact that that right of way departs on so
Yeah.
aggressively, it makes the right sense at that time. And we are reevaluating, just FYI, currently on Haynesbridge Road, where that right of way does depart, we have an internal plan to, based on staff comments, to pull that alpha loop off away from Haynesbridge, get it more meandering, and also eliminate a lot of the
itself is more imagery than exact.
This portion of it is,
Okay.
yes. So the plan book, at least the way we understood it, is more of a texture, fit, finish,
Right.
and materials package. Not necessarily how it's going to be used, but the acceptance of the application as easy.
Yeah, so it's not listed in the plan.
Right, it's not like, oh, we don't like the brick that's on that particular wall, we don't like that brick at all. At least that's the way we understand it. So this is a pattern book for where we see our development going and how we see it being applied. And I think there's a few more, yeah. So, and we can talk about this in bulk, but to orient you on site, there's a little index map, which is, this is sort of the vegetable garden area, which is pretty centrally located. This plan does occur underneath the power lines, so we are in talks with the power company about the poles, and that's a whole other conversation. But what we do know is that anything that occurs under there will have to be removable, so there will be nothing in that vegetable garden that will be permanently fixed, which means that all the raised planters, we're working on a solution for the raised planters, but if we get a no-go from the power company, those planters will still be there, but they will be ground level planters. The ones that are raised, they may have to be on casters, or maybe perceived as on casters. With a balance, they can be removed and they can be movable. But we are actively working on solutions and negotiations with the power company. But we do think that, by and large, the layout you're seeing will be what manifests on site. But again, this is just not approval of the design per se, but the direction and the pattern and the flavor of what you're seeing in the elements within. Obviously, one of the pictures that's gone now is some of the high steel components which like to arc because we have a droop condition, which gets about 15% deeper in summer when the lines get high. So it's a crazy amount of droop. This next image, we're moving west on the location. This is the playground area again. These are textures. So what you're seeing are low ground climbing rocks, mounted berms. You're seeing maybe a hammock or a cargo net. I prefer cargo nets, which are anchored in four corners to hammocks just because they're a little safer. But again, these anchors would probably be bollard style in sleeves where they can be removed when the power company has to come out and never repair their line. Sorry, we're running into a lot of questions. But, big granite obelisks, things like that, the lighting. The swing set is still in there because we would like to provide something like that, even though, we'll have to see where the line drop is. But again, these are passive things that are going to exist, fully removable or drive over. But again, this is just textural matter. So this is the adult exercise loop, which is in the northern quadrant. After speaking with city staff, doing some on-site research, and meeting with David Shostak, this will change slightly in the fact that we are going to leave an entire grove of trees in this northern corner. So there's about 30 trees plus that are easily salvageable that we will keep in this location. We're going to keep grading all to a minimum. We are still going to try to apply all of the imagery that you see in this, but the trail will now be more of a passive trail. It will be meandering through the existing canopy, and the surface is probably going to be something more along the lines of what you have outside of Citizen Soul. That's meandering around the Big Oak, which is the rolled and bound gravels, which walk like concrete but are fully permeable, which will allow us to keep from damaging the critical root zones and everything. And also gives us a nice canopy in that corner that we don't have to disturb, and it makes everybody happy. So that's the only difference. But all the features, we're still going to try to work in there with it, as long as we don't do too much damage to the existing fabric that's there. So this is that corner monument on Haynes and Morrison. We've sort of fleshed this out a little bit further. If you look at the top section elevation, so what you see, the woman with the yellow shirt on is effectively standing on the sidewalk level. Okay, you're going to have a green space to probably a seat wall. The only thing that's not quite shown correctly is that first ball and water return will actually be just below the top edge of this cap, meaning it'll be a basinless return. The water will disappear through river stones or Baja Beach pebbles, an ornamental stone, which will be on top of like a gator grate, and there will be actually a trough return below, i.e. you cannot actively integrate with the water. It will be coming down those falls and disappearing from sight. Conversely, that will be the same thing that takes place on the interior, which is the patio, which is sheet west, where we have our planted treescape in that activated patio space above it. That patio space will be, it'll be about, I gotta look at these grades, but we're anticipating at final grade to be somewhere between 4 and 6 feet above the sidewalk below. The barrier wall, the white brick veneer wall, will be programmed about waist high. So once you're sitting up there, you will have a perched patio space with benches, seats, chairs, funky seating, things like that. We're going to use
the fountain itself you anticipate it being interactive? In other words, people.
the fountain.
Yeah, going
No.
into it, not going into it?
No, it'll have a seat wall all the way around it, and it'll be. I mean, we are not programming it for it to be activated. Do people activate with fountains every time they see water?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Kids
So-
love it.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to design it so that we know it's going to happen, but we're not selling that, which is about the best you can do without putting up a 4-foot fence. You know, these are the same type of fountains you see in downtown Atlanta everywhere. It's, and we can talk about if council wants pool quality filtration. I don't have the skill set to discuss that type of filtration with you today, but if that's a concern, that discussion can be had
My concern.
at final. But no, this is not programmed to be activated, even though I have a feeling if it comes off the way we think, people are going to want to go up there and take pictures with those Core-10 balls and.
I mean, they're just going to release Junior in there and.
There's gonna be little
off they
guys
go.
all over it.
Right, so the best we can do is program it so that it's not just walkable. They have to actively climb over a sense of a barrier. That
Put up the stupid signs that,
Right, please don't play in the water.
because once you're.
Wink, wink.
We're not paying for the lawsuit.
Right.
Just throw your coins.
So, and then the next section down is sort of, you're looking at a straight plan, you're looking at a straight elevation, but understand that the gathering panels to the left and the right are actually at 45 degrees. One will be facing Morrison, one will be facing Haynes, with the arc in the middle comprising the fountain component. And, we've changed the monumentation from freestanding lettering to a board form concrete panel with either a pin-mounted plasma cut lettering. So it'll be a freestanding relief type lettering. Again, the imagery, the Core-10 balls, Core-10 planters. We're eating up the required fall protection levels by adding these Core-10 lifts into the landscape on the frontage. So there's no long drops. Even if somebody was on top of that wall, there's no long drops down. We're talking 30 inches or less between lifts on these big Core-10 planters. Very indicative of what you see at like Ponce City Market, things of that nature. They will be planted with low ornamental grasses and hangers and fruiters and all sorts of good stuff. Pretty indicative of that elevation now. We're sort of pretty far along in the refinement of that.
The whole thing just invites people to climb up on the walls and get in the water.
No question, okay. So moving on, this is,
What's the fountain made out of? Is that just cement or is it?
it will more than likely be a monopore and it'll probably be coated.
Coated, okay.
It'll,
Cool, it looks like.
put it this way, somebody's definitely gonna get in there. We will probably texture it with either a, and I can't tell you what that is yet, because there's costs associated for ownership.
Yeah.
But it will be designed to be non-slip for the simple facts of maintenance, cleaning, and when kids do go into it, they're not busting their butt on everything under the sun. So, but yes, it will be of non-slip nature. It'll probably have some interrupters to create white water. There's nothing worse than a fountain where the water just tracks right over the surface, because at that point we all know it just goes away, disappears. So it'll be a combination of volumetric flow as well as some disruptors to create that. Disruptors in this case also being in vertical geysers, which are anticipated to be between 2, 3, 4 foot tall. They may be undulating in nature, depending on what we experience the wind to be once the site's set. Wind plays a huge factor in how much casting you get. So all that stuff has to be fine-tuned, but we can do it. This is the Morrison Entrance, which again, we're emulating that Core 10 planter at list because on the Morrison side, it does fall out of the property, so you're going downhill as you exit the property. We're using the Core 10 in this case to manage those lifts, same as at the corner. We have the sign mimicked again. Still using Core 10 steel frames, which you can see in the southern corner. This is sort of an architectural feature that we're going to try to pick up in multiple locations on the site, especially once we get to the commercial areas. So this will probably be a replicated feature. It is currently replicated at all the entrances. But that one pretty much speaks for itself. This is the Haynesbridge. The steel frames are actually programmed to be identical to the ones that you just saw in Morrison. These are represented a little bit fat. But again, same cosmetic texture, same fit and finish, same features, same type of signage condition.
Okay.
And we're trying to convey a very clean, manicured look just because of the level and the style of architecture that will be indicative on the site as far as landscape and as far as how we treat a lot of this entrance condition.
So as you develop your documents for this, this will all be part of the land disturbance permit that you'll be submitting for, is that correct? I mean, is that?
I mean, all this will drive all of that, yes.
Okay.
There will not be a grand departure from any of this.
Okay.
When and what is contained in the LDP set. The tree replacement documentation is about 90%, and it contains everything you see within here. In fact, David Shostak has already audited the first version of that, and we have feedback which we are manipulating based upon staff comments. So this is all moving in conjunction with. This is all lining up.
Okay. All right.
And maybe while you're still here at signage, I think we can go back a few slides.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, sorry.
Actually, I have stuff too.
You can go up one more. So this is the FF&E that we're going to be using, definitely around the commercial, absolutely on the Alpha Loop, which is part of the North Lake overlay. In fact, I believe most of this stuff is right out of the code book. We like it. I mean, it looks good. You guys, great selections. We don't have a problem with it. It definitely fits our architecture. It fits our fit and finish. And even the landscape picture with the bench, with the vector seating system bench, that's very indicative of what we would see on our site. The bike racks, the street lamps, these will all be about, 14 foot tall, and I think they're going to be 40 foot on center on the Alpha Loop? 40 on the Alpha Loop. So these will be programmed to work outside of tree canopies. They're going to be staggered appropriately so we don't conflict. The lighting is being coordinated in the LDP and TRP documentation, so there's not some one hand not talking to the other. All of this stuff is being coordinated at a very high level, even with the power company, to make sure they don't do anything weird and funny, and so we have less tree destruction on some back end where somebody missed something. The next page here is indicative of the type of signage we are going to be giving to our commercial clients. This is indicative of what we want them to produce. Again, these are not necessarily the vendors, but this is the template we're giving them to work within to create their branding. And this is stuff that you've probably seen before in the initial offerings that we had from the very beginning. This is just a condensed and an expanded upon version. Now, this signage and these signage components have also been audited with our commercial team, who has already audited users for our commercial space. So this has been audited at a high level for compatibility with the end user. So most of the people who have been contacted to engage or invest in the site, they've signed off on this kind of stuff. So there shouldn't be some wild card. It should be very indicative of what you're seeing here. So we've gone ahead and already had those conversations.
And this is really just an inspiration palette of sorts to drive cohesion as each one of those individual tenants comes in, and
Right.
we'll present their actual sign package to you guys.
Like if we had a big picture of a hamburger, you'd be like, no, we don't want that.
These are cool signs.
We're trying to keep it modern, trying to keep it cool, trying to keep it fresh. I mean, I think there's it's gonna be a really neat site. Same, this is just more of the offerings. We've even got a picture of your quad down there.
So when you develop the streetscape for the commercial, you will be developing the streetscape. You'll be developing the street trees, the site furnishings, the materials, all that stuff, and then your tenant will be taking their lease space inside that envelope, correct? So
The way we understand that, yes. Now, the streetscape will already be conditioned. The streetscape around Morrison and Haynes, that whole area is already conditioned through the TRP and David Shostak's oversight
I'm
and all
looking
of
at
that.
the commercial itself.
The
Like
commercial,
the actual structures.
the commercial is maybe 3, 4. This is out of Rock.
Yeah, sorry. They get 4 types of things. So they get, say, on main square footage, covered indoor square footage, second floor square footage, uncovered and covered outdoor square footage, and then rooftop. So those are the elements, and to the extent there are rooftops, those are the elements that they will have a lot of say in design. But everything outside of, an outdoor patio or anything even an outdoor patio, it's going to have to fit within our common space design. So
Your common space will be
Yeah.
just that designed by you,
designed and maintained by us.
typical of every mall or mixed use.
Right.
We say ends at the floor and the door. Yeah.
Just jumping back to the areas that are underneath the Georgia Power easement.
Sure.
I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but Georgia Power needs to come in and repair the lines or something.
We have met and talked to Georgia Power over the past 7 months or so. Paid a lot of money to their engineers already, and they have given us a final proposal, which basically is engineered total cost and it's guaranteed price. So in the next, 30 to 60 days, I think their number's only good for 90 days. So in the next 90 days or less, we'll pull the trigger and make a final decision with them on how we're going. But right now.
When you say decision on how they're going, I mean, you put the lines
So
underground
right now you
or?
have 3 poles that are lattice poles. They're not self-sustaining, so they have 26 guy cables holding them up.
Okay.
We have worked with them on, originally we wanted to remove those entirely and do a single monopole. Their engineers have looked at it 9 different ways and determined that basically this is Georgia Power told us this is one of the largest transmission lines and actually runs cross-country, ties in with other parts of the network, and it's a major distribution line and federally regulated line. So that's a long way of saying they can't do one monopole. It takes 3 poles, so they will do 3 monopoles. Now.
No guys.
What's that?
No guy.
No, they're self-sustaining, so you'd have no guy cables anymore. And I actually can find, and maybe I can send it to you and you can distribute. I found out we have a site in town, West Highlands, that has the exact same condition, the triple monopole. So I actually have been able to go out and measure and go, okay, it'll be a vast improvement from what's there. The other benefit it has is it lets us shift them. We can go 40 feet east or west along the line, so they don't have to be put, right now they're landing right in the middle of what's our dog park. We can shift it to one edge and kind of minimize their impact.
You have to give them truck access and to the poles, right?
Yeah, they do have to have,
Insulators
and they've
and
looked at all of our plans. They have distance requirements,
Right.
just like the fire department. There's no area right now that they're concerned with. The dog park, the difference is you normally would do a single gate. You have to have something, I think it's
We just have truck gates at one
truck
side.
gates, and
For emergency.
or removable panels is the other thing they're fine with, as long as ballasters can be put in a sleeve and pull out panels, that kind of thing. From a vertical aspect of what we can put in there, they really don't care, other than charging. So for example, if you put a swing set and it's metal, we take the risk of if it gets statically charged from the lines and the kid gets electrocuted, so they're like, you may not want to do metal near them and those type of things. So we'll be looking at alternative materials. From a height perspective, anything at 15 feet or below is completely fine. They don't care. Tyler brought up it has to be movable. Now, when they say movable, they're not talking that me and Matt can go out and move it by ourselves in 2 hours. They're saying we give you 2 weeks notice, come out, you can have everything moved out of the way for specific points. And the last thing they brought up was just that, if we do something like the gardens and there's an emergency, a storm like today rolling in, and a line was to fail or fall, they're going to destroy everything under it. And I said, well, you would do that to anything anyway. So that's where we're at with Georgia Power.
Okay, I was just fearful that something happens and they drive a convoy of trucks through there and they're just, heaven forbid, mowing down everything.
And what we're doing is we're adjusting the site to make sure that they have the vehicular access they need to key locations.
Okay, all right.
So that's all being,
Okay, that's good.
honestly, it's being redesigned as we speak, and those conversations are still ongoing to make sure they're happy at the end of the day.
Okay.
It's just like life safety. It's hard to argue with.
No, these are all great amenities here, and you just don't want to see them just kind of destroyed literally because of one event. And
Correct. We have a subdivision in town under a major transmission line that has a soccer field and ball fields and other things under it. And, same discussions with Georgia Power about access and, hey, we're going to have to drive through it. But the reality is they have the right to do it. They almost never do. They try to respect the area as much as possible and work with us.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
And again, this is just the landscape portion of it. I'm sure there's some
We
other
can go
stuff to talk
back
about.
to the beginning.
Is there
Yeah, I guess.
any of the questions that are specifically geared towards me?
You got to go.
We have landscape signage.
Any landscaping or
Gotta put on
signage
my
questions?
cape.
Your kids are waiting outside.
I think it might be a little half tummy ache. You know?
Oh,
Back.
yes,
It's
okay.
The middle one. It's the middle one. Always the middle.
Hey, they will know the best.
I'm an only shop. There's plenty to poke fun at me.
Okay, any questions for Tyler this afternoon? All right, I think you're relieved at this point. Let's talk about the.
Thank you all very
All right,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Tyler. So we also included all of the residential elevations just to give, more flavor to the project because like Tyler mentioned, it really influenced a lot of what he has otherwise designed. These are actually subject to staff approval, but we wanted you guys to see it, see if there's any feedback. So we have 3 different townhome products and then 2 single-family detached. The single-family detached, this one that you see in front of you is called our Emery Plan. The only difference in this and the next one you'll see, which is the Emerson, is that one is a drive-under, and there was, to accommodate some of the interior changes to the plan, there was a few minor things in the elevations that we tweaked. Of the Emery, which is this one, this is the second elevation of it. We have what we're sort of internally calling the shadow box and then the gabled elevation. Both have a modern architectural style. We've tried to sort of err towards clean lines, classic kind of finishes. So you can see we've got.
Excuse me. Where do each of these sit on the site plan?
I don't have the site plan in front of me, but the first products you're seeing are all the yellow lots.
Let me see if I can zoom in on this here.
Okay, there you go. They're not yellow. The lighter gray on this would be all the detached. And we don't know yet which elevation goes where, but the way the product's drawn, any of them will fit on any lot. There are some specifics that'll have to be drive under versus slab, but.
Like I think this road right here where the mouse is, Brett, or was before, lower below the pond, that's,
Bottom left.
Bottom left, yeah. That is, I think, where that 7 in a row there are all drive-unders. I think it's the bottom one, right? The middle.
Yeah, it goes slab, and then the muse is kept flat, and then a drive under to chase the
Yes.
grade. That's one of the things when, eventually when it's built and you can drive out and see it, you'll notice we spend, I don't let engineers do grading plans with computer programs. We make them detail every single point, all 4 sides of roadway, watch for water. And, you know, if we're gonna create common spaces between units, they only work and create value if they're functional. So I don't like a ton of cross slope. We'll allow a little bit, but I don't like a lot. And I don't, you know, if it's going to have staggering drops from unit to unit going this way, they need to be tiered and terraced. So that drives a lot of how we end up setting those houses.
So, and then if you'll see the, just up from this pod in the bottom left corner of all the single-family detached, if you just go up there, right where the mouse is, those are the 14-foot product. So you'll see those elevations in just a moment. Along the streetway of Haynesbridge, those are going to be our Charleston elevations, which is the rooftop townhome product. And then
The red box is the non-rooftop.
yeah, and then, yeah, where the red box is the non-rooftop. So those are effectively the same plan, just one has a rooftop, living, and the other one does not.
So,
I still have no idea what's going where.
so Brett, all right, Brett, hold that
The rooftop.
right
It's like
there.
a split screen.
These
I'm
are
trying
not
to do a
the-
split screen. I'm looking at the individual units
That's
and I'm
not the
looking at,
rooftop.
trying to
Is-
find
are
out
these-
site plan.
Is that the 14?
Yes,
That's a
ma'am.
14.
I know.
All right, so what's on our screens right now, which is the Emery, which one is this now?
Those are gonna be the lower left of the site plan, and then the upper right, the detached lot's kind of in the middle.
Okay, very good. And then help me understand, you've got the materials kind of selected down there at the bottom. I see a buff brick veneer, so that's buff brick and a buff mortar color. And then the next one over is a painted white brick veneer. So the first one's not painted and the second one is painted.
Correct, and I think those are different palettes, so we'll, to be able to create some variety in the elevations as we develop, right? Because we typically have like what we call non-repeat rules in a neighborhood, so you can't have the same elevation with the same color palette directly next to each other. Sometimes we'll say it can't be across the way, you know, it may have to be 3 houses down. You know, we'll do a lot of studying of the site to make sure that that whole streetscape is attractive. So that's just giving a palette of sorts.
Okay, so you're not telling people where they can use it, but these are the materials they can use. Because you also,
We actually typically won't let, most exteriors are selected by us.
If we control it.
We control it, and the buyers at the most may get a palette A, but it's a completed full exterior package, or a palette B that's, you know, this other package, but you won't be able to pick pieces and parts out from it.
I see.
In a
Okay.
site like this, we will probably opt for just entirely controlling the exterior colors.
Okay,
entirely.
because then you just show in the center there, in the circles, you've got wood siding, you got ash and bark or cedar and something else down spruce. So you're allowing some natural colors as well as, okay.
And some of that, by the way, part of this book isn't just for us in developing the product, but it is something that the HOA can reference back. So 5 years, somebody wants to build a deck on the back, if they were to submit it and it had the natural, the brown, the gray, or the ash, you know, their deck boards are gonna have to match one of those colors in this book, kind of thing.
So there will be an HOA then that does dictate or can dictate, okay.
And we keep control of the HOA, 100% control till I don't own anything. But, you know, we do set up an interim board and let them kind of manage their own affairs, with the exception of architectural control. We never get that over till I'm gone.
Okay.
So I would maybe want to jump back one, yeah. Okay, so this is the 14-foot product. You guys may remember from our first time in front of you guys how we're ganging these units together and doing the gable over 2 units, so it appears like a 28-foot product. And so we've adjusted these a little bit since last time you guys saw them. You can see we've got the protruding brick detail up at the top. We played around with that a lot, and sort of saw a lot of iterations of how to do that. You've got the row lock right above the windows at the top as well, just to create that separation before that protruding brick element sort of comes into play. And then we've, just for consistency as well, we've got the wood accent on the side of the units. Then over the doorways, that's a metal awning.
Yeah, it looks like you have changed a little bit from what you presented to us in November to now then.
Yeah, just
On
minor
these.
tweaks.
We're just trying to make sure there's architectural character to these, not just a plain facade that
Yep.
kind of is boring. Okay?
If you want to go back one more. So this is the non-rooftop townhome product. So similar design, just a little bit different aesthetic, but the materiality is largely the same, as you can see. Quite a bit of masonry. We've got the smooth, symmetrious siding panel there, and then a little board and batten element at the top. We're opting for darker windows, and then same kind of metal awning over the stoop. I don't think these ones have changed. I'm not sure if these ones have changed at all since you guys originally saw them.
And will they stair step like you show them now? Or do they go up and down?
Not every location, depends on the site, where in the site they're being set. Some will have flush because the pad will allow for all the units to sit at the same elevation. But I would say the majority of them are gonna have steps similar to this between units. We typically target 1-foot step downs to keep it consistent. Don't like going past 2 feet, it gets a little more challenging.
And it helps break it up too a little bit so that you're not looking at just something that's the same height all the way through.
Now you will see on the next slide, he went to where that has a larger step between, it's a 4-unit building, 2 of them equal plane, the next 2 step down.
And this is the 4-story or the one on.
Yes, with the rooftop.
Roof, okay. Versus the 3-story, which is the one we just saw.
Correct. And so this one, you can see a little bit more masonry. This is our highest end townhome product, so we added a little masonry on the elevation. You can see you've got that same smooth fiber cement accent in the middle around the windows, and then you've got the wooden accent that's sort of enveloping that component. Same metal awning, same kind of window detail with the dark windows. And then up top, the rooftop is a metal roof structure as well. So part of that rooftop is covered, part of it is not. We found that most of our buyers like to have a space out there that's not shaded, and then another area they could, put a TV and, or a little bar or something up on the roof.
For your older buyers who might inquire about an elevator, are any of these planned to have elevators opportunities?
The detached homes will all have elevators. The townhomes will not.
Now that said, there is a product that's a pneumatic elevator that, as long as you have 42 inches by 42 inches straight up, right? You can put it in. It doesn't require a pit, no cables.
Expensive.
It's like a bank, you're right. They're actually safer because when the power goes out, there's no cable to break. They go down by just turning off the fan and releasing air pressure, so there's no collapse. The downside is you got to keep them really clean because otherwise it creates friction on the glass. But they're perfect for anybody if you have somebody who's disabled and you have to move frequently. Because the coolest part about them is, like I said, you cut 42-inch by 42-inch hole in your floor system. The fan sits in the attic on the top of the structure. No pit, can be put in right on top of your hardwoods. Comes out in 3 boxes, and when you're ready to move to your next house, The company comes out, puts it in 3 boxes, and sends it to your next place, so.
So like 50 grand?
They used to be 30, I don't know what they are now. The last one I did was 2014. We actually did the first one in Georgia in a residential house, and that, the family was, they had a disabled son, and his corporate job moved him every 3 to 5 years, so for him it was huge, because he bought like 6 elevators in the past. And this is a buy it once and be done.
What are they called?
Pneumatic elevators.
Pneumatic?
Yep.
Like
Starts
pneumatic?
with a P.
Yep, it
Yes,
does.
it's a pneumatic.
Pneumatic.
And it is, she said it perfect. It's a bank tube that, you know, sucks you right up.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, any questions about, so Brett, we need to approve this, or is this, I mean,
Yeah, you're
we,
approving the design guide.
so this is called the design guide, is that what we want to call it? Okay. Design guide.
So the one thing I don't understand with the design guide is the, you know, the elements that are out on the street, like the fountain and all that stuff. I mean, that's, will that necessarily be part of the design guide? I mean, what correlation does it have like to a resident or an HOA handing over the design
It's
guidelines?
given the theme of the area. I mean, we've already seen the streetscape,
Right.
and so, yes, that fountain is a separate thing. It's in the design guide.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why is it in the design guide?
I mean, it could, it doesn't necessarily have to, but if these guys, you know, again, sell it down the road at some point, it's gonna have to be maintained like that, you know, if they wanna come in and go, we're gonna like these vertical elements, we're cutting them out, we don't want this cementous wall, that looks stupid, we're gonna demo it. There's a problem with that, because it's in the design guide that, you know, these are the kind of things that you're gonna use. Now, maybe they wanna demo it in the back of something similar in a different spot or whatever, we use that.
So what happens from here? Do we,
They
I
go
mean,
to LDP.
they go to LDP. So we don't see specifics on
On the pond.
on any of this. We're just approving this sort of general stuff and.
Conceptually.
That's what it sounds like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Well,
what I'm
I
trying to
mean, you've seen
understand.
the streetscape, Haynesbridge and Morrison, the streetscape's
Yeah.
done. The commercial streetscape, basically the interior part of that, we've not seen yet. That'll come back with the buildings.
Okay.
But we have seen some thematics of what that's gonna be. I like that word, Pat, you use that one.
He's like, what?
So,
Is that pneumatics?
No, this is different.
Can't blame me.
so we'll
Semantics.
see more specifics,
Specifics, okay.
but it's gonna be along these lines.
Along these lines, okay, all right, so.
If I had to
There are
guess,
guidelines as well.
if I had to guess right now, I think you see me 10 more times.
Yeah, okay.
And especially out of that 10, probably 10 of them for the commercial specific. Because every time we get a tenant, they're gonna have their own idea, their own signage desires and layout and all that, so.
Then all the or the commercial building elevations, you guys will be approving as well.
Right.
And
I'd
the-
say we're, 6 months probably on that from, if I just had to guess, somewhere in that 6-month range. We've got about 120 users that have come to us wanting to be in the project, so we're
Except the
collating through that.
entrances, I think.
Very good.
So on the,
Exciting project.
so on the entrances, are we approving the entrances once and for all based on what they showed us today? Or is this again,
What part of
just
it?
in general? The fountain and the Corten steel and the tiers and basically the whole entrance features.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Okay.
So, got more questions about that, Tyler.
Yeah, so that's kind of the one specific thing we're doing today is the entrance features.
Well,
Okay.
to get our residential LDP, this was a requirement to get your approval on this design guide. And to your question earlier, those elements, the entrances and the corner monument were required in the zoning condition to be in this. And our understanding was just to, sort of what Tyler referred to earlier, just drive cohesion in the overall design between the landscape, the architecture, sort of every element of the project.
Yeah, what I was trying to understand is, do we need 2 motions? One to approve the design guide and one to approve the entrance features, or just the design
I
guide?
think we just do the design guide. If it doesn't, if what they bring forward when they are gonna hard do it on paper
Is different.
on permit, different, then staff will determine, okay, well, is it kind of meet up with the design guide, or is it off of that, you know? If it's off, then obviously they'll come back.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
We can do that. Hold up.
Because we're used to watching specifics.
I gotta do public. There's nobody.
That's-
Well,
that's-
but remember, you know, he's gonna come back with a lot, so we're not completely done.
Yeah.
But what they're gonna come back with is gonna meet this, or they're gonna say, hey, by the way, this part doesn't meet the design guide, so we've really gotta look at this specifically and also in relation to the design guide. You know, do we have to change the design guide? Do we, you know, so I know it's a little bit uncomfortable, but it'll work out in the end as far as how it all comes
Yeah.
together. And the only reason I know that is we had 50 meetings with Avalon, probably. You know, it was just crazy amount of meetings.
Yeah.
And that's just how we did it. Worked out in the end.
Okay, very good. All right, before we have a motion, I'll ask for any public comments. Any public comments? All right, looks like we're done.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion on DRB 210058 that we approve the design standards book as presented today by the applicant. In motion.
A second.
Okay. I have a motion by Ms. Rhodes, a second by Ms. Rocco, with a very close third by Mr. Owens. Very good. All right, any questions, comments about the motion to approve the guidelines? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed? No opposition. Motion passes 7-0. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Gentlemen.
Brooks?
See you next time.
Okay. All right, next up is Savita International Market. Come on down. Thank you for your patience this afternoon. That's good. Somewhere in downtown Alpharetta. All right, Mr. Lohman, if you'll.
All right, Jeff Lohman with Piper O'Brien Her Architects.
Hey, Jeff.
How are you? So, as y'all had mentioned earlier, so this is Stonewood Village. Suvita is the current grocery tenant. As you can see in the existing elevation down below, they occupy 2 of the bays next to the tower on the right. They're expanding all the way over to the other tower. Part of that expansion is they want to move their doors to the second bay from the right there. So the elevation, and then the developer wanted to, because it's a grocery store, and days like today, you don't want to push your cart out into the rain. So basically what they're proposing to do is duplicate the covered walkways that are currently there. It's a combination of brick with stone bases and a shed-type shingle roof. So we're basically just duplicating the materials that are there in the same fashion. The only difference is, because of their entrance, right now they feel like their sign is kind of hidden. So this gives them an opportunity to put their entrance above, or their sign above the new entrance, and bump it up to give it a little bit more prominence there. We're using some of the detailing on the existing towers. I know Brett had mentioned there are brackets on the tower because of the depth of the cornices. Here we're, due to the existing parapets, and we're attaching to an existing structure, we wanted to calm it down a little bit, so we're just doing dental molding there to somewhat replicate that. Like I said, the materials, we would be repainting the existing ephes, so once it's all done, it's all uniform in color, not trying to patch it. And that's about it.
Repainting the whole center, or just that?
No, just the portion that's Suvita.
So Mr. Lohman, so Savita's going to have 4 bays.
That's correct.
In that center. Okay. And I can certainly understand having a covered area so that it's out of the inclement weather and as you're trying to either get in or get out, get your umbrellas up or down as you're, just trying to figure out though, how maybe to make it have not maybe another pop-up structure there or pop-up feature, but make it look kind of cohesive or
symmetrical?
or more symmetrical. Yeah.
Balance of it between the two towers.
Okay, or more symmetrical, yeah, that's good word, so how do you, because you do have, you do have 4 bays there, how do you?
It's like you extend it down to the second one, and I wouldn't make it as tall.
So, go ahead.
Well, in anticipation of this comment, Brett, want to open mod?
Okay, all right. Mod.
So what we did is we shifted it to the center, the pop-up, and then created 2 2 wings of ephes that line up with the columns down below. So we were dividing, we've got 4 equal bays basically, so we're trying to span it and make it more symmetrical.
That looks much better.
Their sign's not exactly over their entrance, but it's, close enough.
Yeah, Dover's isn't either.
Excuse me?
Dover's is not over their entrance either.
Yeah.
But, I mean, people can figure out where the entrance is.
Yeah.
Or it gets it closer, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it centered. The ephes cornice seems a bit odd to me, that kind of, trying to picture exactly what that looks like. It kind of goes out.
Something I'm struggling with is the cultured stone columns coming out of the shingles.
Yeah, that does look a little awkward. Is that brick or is that?
Now, that's kind of the way it is now. I mean, we could change that just to ephes as well. We want kind of a column look there, but it can be done out of the ephes, out of that same light color that's behind the sign.
That would work.
Yeah, I think it's just with this, putting the stone on top of the asphalt shingles kind of makes it look a little awkward, but if you could do something else, maybe it's all ephes or.
Yeah, since those columns don't follow through
it's like
down.
One side they do, but the other side is
Yeah.
over their entrance.
Is that what they're doing? They're making an arcade?
I guess on both sides.
I think they're just repeating kind of what they have, like what's here and here. It's just a covered. I think it's just gonna make it just like
Carry on that same design right here.
just kind of, just a,
A wood?
Look at the 2 pillars that are already there, or the 2 posts, whatever. Yes, right
Oh, I see what you're saying.
there. Carry that same type of design, just so that the sign stands out.
Right.
So I think I've had a little light bulb go off in my head. So you're creating an arcade, if you will, so you're creating a roof situation.
A covered canopy.
There is none now,
That's correct.
but there is on the other 2 sides.
That's correct.
Okay, so therefore the shingles and all that sort of, because I was under the impression it was still like a flat facade.
Oh, no.
Okay. So
Covered like the rest of it.
I'm catching up now.
Good morning, Pat.
welcome back.
Okay.
I like this way better.
I do too, it's just the cultured stone on either side, I'm having a little
Yeah,
bit
we
of
could-
trouble
Did you
with.
hear my comment about the pillar?
No.
Well, so see the 2 on the sides? Yeah,
The
right there
2.
where the arrow is? Just kind of tying into that detail?
And what would you,
What?
Come down at a certain point.
How would you do that?
Adding time?
Right.
Is that what you said? What did you say, Kate?
Those 2 pieces are forward of the panel in the rear.
Yeah.
They were studying.
I think if it's ephes, it's better.
Just ephes the whole way.
Yeah, I would want to get rid of the stone altogether and
Step out now.
leave those as columns
Just
out of the sign.
ephes columns.
Yeah.
Well, and they're different colors. I think it would make it, yes.
so in the case of where Dover is right now,
I found it.
the face of the Dover sign is
And I'm only at 4%.
deeper than the face, what's to the right of Dover? What are those 2
They're chiropractor
or something? Okay, so that's,
and,
It's not exactly.
Yeah, that's right, nail salon, okay. Just trying to get where everything is in the plane wise.
Says it's charging, but it's not going to.
I don't understand those ephes cornices on the sides.
Right, the ephes cornices, which were the low ones?
Wings that extend out to
Oh, the new ephes cornice.
each side of the center feature.
Oh, like on the rooftop there? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, these two little, little white,
winglets?
the little winglets there.
Yeah,
To me, that looks odd.
yeah, because
I would
it's
just
not.
get rid of those.
Maybe the thought was like it sort of mimics the, the one over Dover kind of goes over. I don't
Well,
know.
we thought it was odd because of the column spacing down below.
These things right here,
We wanted something that extended over to those,
these guys.
the second and the fourth column, basically, as opposed to having this big mass come down and have looks kind of like a lollipop if you don't do that, in my opinion.
I don't mind them.
Yeah, they just look arbitrary, but
So Jeff, you're gonna remove all of those column tops?
All of the column tops.
Basically, these parts here, all
Oh,
three of
yes.
these are gonna go away.
Yes, yes.
And the
But underneath this part, let's see, it's gonna be,
That
there's,
needs to stay, that's part of whatever they have.
so this one is here, though.
Yeah, that would go away.
This one is this one.
That's correct.
So are you leaving the back and you're just adding a column to the front?
That's correct. Yeah, there's already stone pilasters behind, within the storefront, so we're just,
Those are gonna stay.
yeah, those are gonna stay. That's-
But the wall part of them, this upper part's gonna go
We're gonna
away.
take that off.
You're the best.
Just die.
What's the height on this? You know?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Bring which style?
I wondered if you could bring that
Well, this is
column
Charging port doesn't-
top
Doesn't work.
way out front, that's in the back.
to that portion.
It's going,
So-
even though
So
it's,
this column would follow up, this one would follow up, this one would just,
it was at
you know,
4,
stay like this,
three,
but
and I know it says
the
it's
two
4.
columns would look like they
How
ended
about-
up there.
How about they're moving it over?
If that would
Have to
help
almost
balance
yeah.
that
like
back
that.
thing.
Sure.
I like this,
I like that. I think that
Because
makes it work.
kind of gives it like this, but if these columns looked like they ended up there,
Yes.
maybe that,
Then it's not so arbitrary, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
If the front columns look like they ended up there?
yeah, just like
the ones over there on the, yep.
Sort of tie it all in.
But
Just
that-
like this
that
or
portion's-
this.
But that portion's set back.
Yes, it is,
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, it is.
I think that would look weird, to me personally, sorry.
Well, these,
I like it.
these on the face are gonna remain underneath. So you're still gonna see this little bump out underneath.
Yeah.
And there'll be a forward column just like this.
Well, now look at
Front of
the,
Not gonna see much of that because it's gonna.
So
be
it's
coming
gonna,
up.
it would look similar to this facade.
well, but Brett, if
Up
you
higher.
look at the actual picture, all right, go, yep, right there. See, that's a column, but in the drawing, it looks, they have stone on both sides of that column, but in the actual picture, it's only on one side.
Huh?
See right there where you're,
Oh, just
Right
this
there.
little bit of ephes right here?
yeah, but in
No,
the
that-
Oh.
picture, that's stone. I don't think it's gonna be stone.
That's new stone, where Brett's hand is now.
I was under the impression
bet
the
that's
part
gonna
that's
stay,
attached
yeah.
to the building was not changing.
That's what I
Isn't that
heard.
what he said? That's what he
Just like
said.
this.
Well, you're gonna have to, it changes because there's no stone that continues on up.
We weren't gonna move the pilasters or the storefront spacing, that's what I was saying.
Okay, so you are adding stone to the actual storefront then?
Yes, the back part of it.
Okay. I still think it would look really odd because because these are no longer columns now, it's just, they're storefronts. I mean, it's just stone put on the front to me. And it just looks like you have a column coming out of a roof.
I got, that's
Because how wide would that column be
I'll show you what I,
up at the top?
It's width.
Where's your thing? Oh,
Same width as what they show right here.
and it would be directly over the ones that
It
are,
would just be right there, directly over this one. So it looked
So-
like that one ended right there, and this one goes
Yeah,
up
but
and
that
ends right there.
that column that it looks like it's supposed to be the top of is out here, and then you have the top of it back here?
It's like 10 feet back from one another.
That would look so weird, don't you think?
I don't think you would really,
There's no way they could be tied together in space, so why are you trying to mimic it?
I don't know. I think that would be even more like, what
What do you
is
think, Jeff?
this random stone at the top, this one little square stone at the
I
top?
I think what we could do is, so the two side wings that we're adding is the lighter color ephes. If that same light color came down to the sloped roof, that would, because right now that darker ephes band is interrupting everything. So if we take the light ephes and bring it down to the roof, that gives you more of the Dover look. So it's more of a complete canopy. We get rid of the stone above the roof. So just in the coloration of the ephes, it would look more cohesive as a big unit up there.
yeah, I think that
And it's in the same vein as Dover and what was.
And how do you break that, where it breaks? Maybe
Some sort of
Well,
a column, like a,
sort of a bump out, I suppose.
like a bump
It's
out
just
or
a bump out, yeah. I mean, 8 inches or
So
so.
right there, you put some
sticks
kind of
out.
bump out at the end.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Painted
so
a
it-
lighter
so it
color. Yeah.
Protrudes from
Oh,
the
it might have a little
existing
cap,
ephes.
maybe it doesn't. Okay.
that would help it look more like this,
Exactly.
where you've got, where, like, this one comes across and stops. It actually doesn't continue.
Right.
It comes across and then jumps up, and then up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works too. Yeah.
I definitely like it
Perfect
centered
motion
more than
for Katie.
offset.
Yes, I
No,
know.
I'm,
That-
I've not been following. I said, I've not been following this conversation.
And what was that, stucco or ephes?
It's ephes.
It's ephes. All right, yeah, this will be we know what we want. Saying it is a whole different thing. All right, let's,
Go for it,
are we
Frank.
ready?
You can do it.
You sure you don't want to?
you don't want me.
All right, regarding DRB 220009, Suvita International Market. Motion to approve the modified elevation as presented today with the following changes. The cultured stone columns on both sides of the sign will be changed to ephes. The ephes below the new cornices will be painted the lighter color to match the cornice. And delineated with a bump out on the ephes. I don't know what you would call that bump out, but there needs to be some kind of break there at that point. And I think that captured it, so into motion.
Second?
Okay, have a motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Mr. Corkle.
I think it's called a bump out here. I heard Mr. Loman call it a bump out.
We're going with a bump out?
Somebody's calling it a bump out.
I like bump out.
Bump out.
I'm just a plant guy, so
It's adequately vague.
it's my claim to fame.
With Mr. Swing's motion, Brett, can you use your pointer to
Yep.
go through each of the items he,
Okay, so these columns are gonna go away, and they're gonna become ephes.
okay, so we go from cultured stone to ephes there, that's
Yep.
right,
Same color
straightforward.
as this.
Okay,
Then this color background and this little color up here, the little ones, that's gonna fill in here, that color. With a simulated column bump on the ends here, so that this facade would come down, bump out a little bit, and then go back in.
Yeah, watching.
So,
I am.
so the width of this column here transfers to here. Is that what you were following, Jeff? You weren't watching? Okay,
No, I was.
okay.
All right, that third part, where you are now, that IFAS band up there,
Yeah, from here to here
okay,
is the lighter color,
got that.
All
Now,
on the same plane.
all on the same plane.
what's all in the same plane?
This one up here and this right here
Okay,
become the same plane as, I think, this, with a bump out here and here.
okay. How about the horizontal kind of parapet lines that are,
These?
no, on the bump outs
Oh,
there?
this?
Yes, those,
I think it comes to here and then
Okay.
stops, just like this, similar to this. So if you were to continue this column right here, you see me on Dover?
yes,
If you were to continue this column straight up, see how that ends right there? So this line stops right here,
okay.
and this all becomes one field.
Still needs a little cornice to it though or something.
There'll be a cornice up top.
Needs a little
Yeah.
cap, yeah.
Okay, I was just trying to, all right,
Yeah, so just this cornice portion right here goes away and makes the top and this all one field, similar to this.
In the same color.
Yep, in the same color, same lighter color.
Yeah, I
Makes it
think,
more substantial. but
Yep,
still-
makes the whole thing more
Yes.
substantial.
yes, I agree.
Is that,
okay, yes, when you started saying bump outs and that helps. All right, everybody understand what we're looking at this point? All right, very good. Any other questions or comments? Any public comment about this? No? Okay. All right, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0.
All right, excellent, thank you.
Very good. All right, thanks for your time this afternoon. Okey-doke.
when you get a chance, read
Next applicant is SEDG Investments. Come on up, please.
Doesn't work. Well, see, it says it's charging because, yeah, it
Okay.
says it's charging.
Okay.
We're almost done.
Take those.
So did the Bay Equity Homes just not show up? Bay Equity Homes, they're just not coming?
Sorry, I just needed somebody to tell me all the different.
Iron ore.
Well,
Those are the two colors.
there were some conversations going on down the other end about.
These things are hard to
That's the color of
Yeah, I agree.
my shutters.
Open this one.
Yep, that's the color of my house right there.
That's your house?
That is my house. So, did you hear from Bay Equity? Bay Equity, did you hear from them?
Okay, welcome. Good afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience. If you're, introduce yourselves and then just make sure you speak to the microphone and give us an overview of what's in our packet today, please.
Okay, great. Good to see you again. My name is Kenny Ellsworth with Studio Sogo Architects.
I'm Chris Sedgwick with Sedge Investments.
Sedge, okay. Very good. All right.
We're here to look at Dave's Garage, which is at 132 Marietta. You're all familiar, I take it, with the property, right behind Pure. I believe we have two things to talk about. One is the proposed changes, which is we're trying to add a bathroom to it. And also what has already been done to it, as I understand it, right, Brett? Yeah. So what you see on the screen right now is its current condition. If you go to the next slide, Brett, you can see at the top there, that's what it was previous. Not in great shape. So what Chris has done is cleaned it up, painted it, put a new roof on, some new garage doors to what you see on the bottom. What we're planning to do to it is on the side away from the street, if you go down two more maybe, the side facing away from the street, Dave's Garage is there on the left on that site plan. The darker gray square is the proposed restroom to it. And then one more slide down, you'll see the floor plan. It's just really a little small entry vestibule and a small toilet facility. I have given to Brett, I think they're making their way around the two colors that are painted on there currently.
Yep.
The field, the main body is the iron ore, and the letters that say Combi or that other paint color, or Urbane Bronze.
So, all right, let's see, who's got the paint colors again? Richard, all right, if you'll hold up, the main body of the building is which color?
Iron ore.
Iron ore, so
Darker's the body.
Richard's gonna be our Vanna down there. Okay, so that's the main body of the building, okay? And then you said the painted sign, the painted letters, the sign is the other color.
Right, it's a kind of a tone on
Darker.
tone, it's pretty subtle.
Okay,
Yes, it's just sun shining on it. I know, for real.
okay. All right, so you've already done this work, so you've already painted the building, you already painted it, put a new roof on it. All right, so you're kind of asking for forgiveness, I guess, or?
That's a
Is
fair way
that-
of putting it.
is- All right,
The intent is to make the addition match the current.
okay, and then you're gonna, but you haven't done the addition,
No,
okay? And the addition is what's on the, say, the backside of the bathroom, or the bathroom and the shower and so forth, okay?
Are the garage doors still there? I mean,
On the garage doors, you mean?
yeah.
they are still there and they will remain, yes.
And what,
But they're not the same, existing to remain. They're the ones that have they're kind of partial, looks like they've got glass. It's not all glass, is it? No.
Yeah, they're glass garage doors. They kind of mirror what we have over at Pure.
Okay.
okay.
The garage doors that were on the building, you can see in one of the pictures, they were falling in, the panels on the bottom, they were warped. I mean, that building sat vacant for a long time. This is, if anybody's asking for forgiveness, it's me, because I'm the one that did it. You know, this happened during the pandemic. You know, it's called Dave's Garage because my friend Dave Paul came over and started power washing it. The building sat there for a long time. We came to DRB before when this garage was going to be part of what you guys now approved as TBB.
Right.
My ex-wife Michelle got that building. They just started the construction over there. We separated this off, and it's a garage workshop that I use over there. And we just started power washing it. And then because it sat for a long time, the garage doors were failing, and I put up new garage doors. I've come to a design review board meeting since then, and I know some other people started painting the building. I honestly, at that point, when it was done, I didn't know I had to come to DRB to paint the building or put a new roof on it. I know now, I didn't know then, you know, so yeah, I'm the one asking for forgiveness for that. I like the way it looks, I hope you do too, but we want to put a bathroom on there. It's 156 square feet to the back of the building is what we're looking for.
Okay. And I guess the words combi, which is a sign.
Yeah, so the way that goes, so that vehicle that you see in front, that's a combi. It's not a business over there. I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling no Volkswagens, you know, because we went to DRB, talked to you guys about the garage I'm building. It's cars that I have. You may find one of those or something like that inside the garage. It was painted on there not to be a sign. It was meant to be not an indicator that we're a garage. We don't service other people's vehicles or anything. It's just sort of, you know, I talked to Brett, and Brett said, hey, you know, this is a sign. And I'm like, so I went and I talked to the art committee about it and attempted to go ahead and get the art committee to approve it as a mural. And when I did that, they agreed that it was worthy of being considered art, but then they tried to push me over to the Historic Society. The Historic Society seemed to think that the site wasn't historic enough, and so we got kind of caught in limbo because, again, it was already painted on there. I mean, if the board ends up saying, hey, you need to paint over it because it's deemed to be not in compliance with something, I'll do that. I would like not to do it. It's pretty subtle. It was intended to be very subtle and just as a design element. And that's the way I'd like you to consider it, is a design element of the building. But, you know, I'm willing to do whatever the board, you know, wants me to do with it.
Not sure we have the ability to approve it as a design element, right?
No, it's a sign.
It either has to be a sign or a mural, one or the other, right?
Yeah, at minimum, it's gonna have to be reduced to the square footage allowed. But could it be there as a design element? Yeah.
Yeah. But it have to be sized to fit the sign standard?
How is that lot not historical?
I'm sorry?
How is that lot not historical? The Theo's lot with the stone, it just seems like that's kind of a,
Well, they weren't looking at the overall thing, they were looking at the sign and the garage, and it's not, just didn't fit that. They gave him some great feedback, I understand, for maybe applying for a historical plaque and things like that for the site, but the combi sign itself isn't historical nor.
What is the TBV property going to be used for?
It's under construction now. It's a bakery. It's a bakery, cafe, breakfast, lunch, and that's not my property anymore. It's my ex-wife's.
And we did see that last year.
What, how was that pier on Sunday?
Yeah, they finally started building. It's pretty neat.
The bathroom, that's going to be on the back side, is that correct? Okay.
Here's a thought about that lettering as a graphic or as a sign. Would you be willing to consider looking at the maximum size you could be allowed and then justifying it onto the right end of that building where most people would be seeing it? It would take away the symmetry of the lettering, but it would still keep it there in the same format.
Yeah, I'm willing to go ahead and do, what needs to be done. It doesn't have to say combi. It's more of a personal preference, something that, again, my personal preference, I think it looks cool. And, the feedback I got from the art committee is they thought that I should make it less subtle. They thought I should have outlined the letters in something like orange and pay homage to the Bensons who lived, and Mr. Benson worked in that garage. So I was trying to go ahead and not put it in your face, and they were trying to say it needed to be a little bit more in your face, kind of, so to speak. So, and again, I got kind of locked up because after I talked to them, and they agreed that it was worthy of consideration as being art. Then as I went to, their recommendation, hey, go talk to the people about the historic thing, they weren't as committed about that. It wasn't a lack of my wanting to do it. I'm willing to do whatever needs to be done because I want it to look good, and I want it to fit within whatever parameters you guys need to make.
Yeah, well, we certainly appreciate you taking an older, I won't say dilapidated, but a building that needed some help. That needed some help, and you've refreshed it and kind of got it repurposed it and got it fixed up, so to speak. So I think the sign portion's out of our hands, so we'll just have to. I think the colors look okay. You've put a new corrugated metal roof on it. That looks good. I think the addition on the back you're doing, you really won't see much of that from Marietta Street, so to speak. I know the architectural consultant the city had made a few comments on some of the windows, for instance. Have you seen those comments?
I have not.
Yeah, okay, let's get to those then. So, or we can go through all the.
There's an error.
While reading the street.
Uh-oh.
I believe so, yeah, this one should be mine. Ooh, that P drive's getting full.
All right. Bear with us as we scroll down towards the end of this application, or the packages.
Looking for Andy's comments.
All right, we're getting closer. Almost there. Okay. I think they're towards the back of the package.
Oh, I'm at 1%.
Okay. There we go. All right, looks like the lettering or the writing
The
red ink, or reddish ink are the comments that were made by the city's architectural consultant.
So basically, you made some comments about maybe rearranging this a little bit, but the reason to rearrange it was he felt like this back entrance needed a windows, or a window as this kind of cabin-like feature. It doesn't really work in downtown. So he felt something like this more met with the building, especially, you've got all this gridded all, so we discussed here, maybe the orientation of this window is this direction, maybe it's to help keep kind of what you've got in the bathroom, maybe it orients the other direction, and it's kind of that, atrium window kind of thing, the square one up there, not in the eave, but up above there. But we didn't know in workshop what the ceiling was in there, if it's an open ceiling up, or if there's trusses, or if it's a closed ceiling, and you might have some problem with that, but just some thoughts. He just felt like that elevation plane needed something.
What does that face? I mean, to me, is anybody gonna see it inside, somebody maybe standing in that spot?
Well, it's gonna face his new building.
No, it faces actually yes, it'll face the new building I'm gonna build, but face the parking lot for TBB is what it faces.
And then he just thought on the same thing on the door, do a divided light door. I think that was
Yeah, see, there's a raised up,
divided lights in there too. Yeah, same kind of thing here.
yeah, if you did that in the bathroom.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
this must be in the addition to the bathroom, must have been above.
Yeah, he did show that on the side.
So maybe that same kind of thing continued over to the other side.
I don't have any
Problem with that. Yeah, the divided light is not an issue at all. We can do that. The, at the bathroom, we have a lot of clearances that we need to verify. That's part of the reason that it was laid out the way it was.
Yeah.
So I can't say right now whether, that configuration would work. But I don't think we have any issue with doing the smaller type window.
I'm gonna jump back. Quick question, Brett, for you on signage. How many signs would this building allow to be had? One, because there's also this golf kind of logo thing that's above the garage doors.
Yeah, that just showed up in these, so I'm not really sure what.
That's present on the building now. It kind of comes down to the definition of sign. That's a vintage old, kind of an art piece almost is what I would call it.
But it wasn't there before.
It was not there originally, is that what you
Okay.
mean, on the white version?
So the trouble is, it's not a personal garage. It's a commercial property. So that's where anytime you put something on the outside, we're content neutral. So if you put something, it's either got to be a design feature or it's a sign. Maybe that could have more been if I'm not sure what it looks like, but I remember back when we were looking at the Pure, and we were trying to get that old gas station Pure round symbol. I think that'd be art. If that were on the wall, that's.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, I don't know what this is.
It's an old golf sign.
Okay, so maybe that's art. Maybe we don't necessarily have to consider that a sign. But the combi part would definitely be a sign.
Okay.
So we gotta get that part reduced. But the other thing, I'm not too concerned about one golf sign now. Start, every cool gas station sign you see.
Right. Well, I have some inside, and yeah, I don't intend to hang them up all over the outside of the building. That's not my intent, even though a lot of garages do that, but that's, I'm not trying to pretend I'm a golf gas station either. In my opinion, that's, if I get rid of the combi sign, can I leave the golf sign up there?
I think you can leave the golf sign up there.
So this restroom is for public use or just for you?
It's for mine. We use it as a workshop and prepare things for the restaurant and, you know, I have a lot of restaurants, so stuff's going in and coming out, and, you know, it's just a workshop for us.
Maybe the DRB could get passes for the bathrooms. Too much.
I'm sorry?
Maybe the DRB could get passes for those bathrooms? for
Yes,
6%?
absolutely, absolutely.
Just the code.
We're over there
Debbie's
quite a
always
bit. It's a,
thinking
it's a kind of a hangout for us.
Yeah,
We
she's
like it.
always
It's
trying
a
to
little
work the
workshop,
angle.
but it's a hangout for us, so. We don't want to have to go to Pure and do theirs, so.
I'm gonna
We kind of come
make
in.
a motion.
Are you gonna ramble?
I'm not gonna ramble. But I'm gonna,
Hold that thought, hold that thought. Are there any public comments about this application? Just checking.
There's,
Okay,
Might have been lame.
we're good.
so you asked for public comments when there is no public. There's a public, you don't.
Nobody knows
It's
that.
best to ask them.
All right. I will take a stab at a motion for DRB 220013 Sedge Investments. Approve the elevations and materials as submitted today, which includes the city architect's comments to be addressed by Sedge Investments for viability. And the signage combi sign shall be addressed with city staff. End of motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Corkle, a second by Mr. Owens. Any comments or questions about the
You know,
motion?
I actually had a question and then I forgot to ask.
Excuse me.
There's a landscape plan in there. Are we supposed to look at that?
Yes.
Okay.
Pat, you'll be glad to know that we had a landscape architect do it.
Approved.
Approved.
Okay, any other comments about the motion that's on the floor? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed? No opposition. Motion passes 7-0. All right. Okay, let's look at the landscape.
Yeah, sorry, I zoned out. I forgot to even ask about that. I saw it earlier.
I'm sorry.
I said I zoned out earlier. I forgot to ask about the landscape. So who's presenting it? Did you zone out?
you are.
I'm not presenting it.
Where's the landscape?
Like color by number, you just read it and point, I guess.
Is anybody presenting?
Yeah.
So, forgive me, I'm not as familiar with it. We know that the tree out front is existing to remain. Yeah, I have, can you pan over a little bit? 'Cause-
Architects.
So they had to do a landscape plan. It's a commercial site, they got to do landscaping. It got separated from the other site, which created the landscape buffer requirement on this side and the front. Technically, it would need one on this side, but we think that would really mess with the overall site view. So we're gonna let this side go, because TBB sits right here. So, the same landscape architect did TBB, did this plan for them. So he basically just continued the theme over here and wrapped the corner.
And the back.
And
There's
the
10
back.
foot
Oh, and the back,
foot
yeah,
in the
back here.
as well.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So, there you go, if you can see that. I don't know why this thing
Just
is.
everything in the red lines.
Yeah, it's inside the red lines, and it's basically just the, come on. I don't know what these two are, because he doesn't have the symbols over here, so
Which ones?
these two.
Those two big ones, or the
Those are
the
dogwoods.
Coosa dogwoods?
Those are the Coosa dogwoods, okay, so two dogwoods that are replicated over here. I think the magnolias are in the back maybe, or this might be one of them.
Those are the 5 things next to the, want me to present this, Jay?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Good.
Can you just do it?
So you're required a 5-foot landscape strip by
Here.
code. So I'm assuming that strip between the building, existing garage and the property line is about 8 feet?
It's 10 foot in the back, and on the side, it's 5 foot.
5 foot here?
Oh, to the building, it's about 10 feet.
Yeah, it looks like about 8, if that's a 5-foot strip and then whatever's left over, but I think the only thing you might have a little trouble with is those magnolias, but won't be down till down the road. So I'm okay with it all, I guess.
Did they get too big, you think?
I think they'll be okay at the end of the day.
Well,
They're dwarf.
they are sweet bays. They're going to be thin. They're not going to be heavy.
They're little gems.
Now, the Magnolia Cal, are you looking at the Cal?
There's
Mag lit
dwarfs.
5.
Yeah, there's 5 of those and then 2 sweet bays. So the 2 sweet bays must be these.
Yep. I'm good. Let's make a motion.
Yeah.
Go.
All right. Well done.
Thank you.
Good job.
Great job.
I'll make a motion, DRB 220013, Sedge Investments Landscape, we approve as submitted. In the motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Corkle, second by Ms. Palmer. Comments, questions about the motion to approve the landscaping as submitted? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. Very good.
There you go, guys.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, regions, where are your regions?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
Or they weren't?
Figure out which way you want to go and
I think Brett's going to,
He had, all right.
they had to catch a flight.
Yep.
Our next applicant is Regions Bank, and Brett is going to do the presentation for us. The gentleman had to catch a flight back to wherever he was going.
Oh, it's going to be delayed.
Yes, it probably will
Hours, hours.
with the weather.
Even if there's not weather, it will be delayed
Okay,
on Friday afternoon.
all right, Brett.
trying to get there.
Make a motion to approve.
I think I got too much going on here, so this computer is having issues.
Shut her down.
Okay. Come on, really? So 2 wall signs, 1 monument sign.
Yes.
They meet the downtown code, so technically they don't really have to be here, but we kind of saw them before, so I felt like we should just go ahead and formally approve them. These 2 wall signs are going on the tower on the building, and he tried to email me.
Oh, that's a good picture.
Let's see.
So they were here in August of 2021.
Looks right there.
That's when we looked at the building. They have changed their monument sign
Like all professional.
because it didn't have brick at the base. Or it did have some brick, but not
Ooh, I just saw that.
quite the same configuration.
Traffic.
Yeah, and I can't get to,
Brett, do you have paint samples?
can't get to those. No, I don't.
And they did show the signs
So we can't get to the M drive.
on the elevations when they presented back in August.
So,
Oh,
is this existing, they're putting a new panel in there, or it's all brand new?
All brand new.
I'm assuming the brick
okay,
matches.
hang on one second.
So you know where Regions Bank is going, right? Right next to Shake Shack.
I'm officially dead.
They're tearing that building down. They're tearing the existing bank down.
It's gonna be dark for
Yes.
Mine's good.
Yep.
I think it looks fine.
We already kind of,
We looked at the signage, or they presented it to us.
so is there something you're wanting us
Well,
to
did we
change,
already
Brett?
approve, did we
No.
already approve the actual brick monument base?
Yes.
We did
No,
not.
oh, no. We haven't approved the monument or the building signs for this application.
How do I get to the SharePoint?
From what I see, the monument sign reflects the geometry of the building, so it's going to fit into
Wondering how
that
big
theme.
it is. Or really,
It's over 4
this
feet.
guy was.
It's over 4.5 feet.
Oh,
5 feet, might be 6. feet?
We're trying, hang on a second.
Just glad it's not 10 feet.
Might be 10 feet.
No, it's not 10 feet.
I see an NTS on there.
Not to scale.
I put NTS for not too sure.
Brick monument by
Looks like
others.
it's about 6 feet tall.
Oh, you weren't looking.
What you doing, Brad?
Trying to get to it.
This is 6 feet, 10 inch this way.
Yeah, they just did the sign itself.
I know.
Yeah, that's 4 feet, and they show a 6-inch band at the bottom, so
Do you
there's
know what
4.5.
the address
That's
is?
probably close
What
to
I said
6.
The address was 11790.
So 6 by
What's that, Steve?
7, maybe?
Yeah.
6
How
by
tall is that sign, Brett?
6 by 7.
Brett's having it.
Let's see if it was.
Brett's just, I just want to get out of here.
So in their original application back in August, the height of the sign was 6 feet.
Yeah, 6 feet is the maximum in downtown. So this is what they presented before. Now
There
they've
it is.
gone to this, brick structure is gonna encompass the whole thing, and they're doing a plate and, pin-mounted letters.
Looks better.
Is it lit? Let's see.
This is one location on the building. This is the corner facing, so Haynesbridge would be right here. Old Milton's on this side. So there's a little smaller one here because the elevation's a little bit smaller as far as this orientation here. So now I'll try to go back to their plan and their monument. You can see now if it would stop. Jeez.
That image there is not what's currently proposed, is that correct?
This is what's currently proposed.
Okay.
And the brick is the same brick on the building.
Brick is the same as the building.
I don't see anything where it talks about if it's lit.
It's not.
Okay.
It's over here, it's the pan and then aluminum mounted letters. So there's no illumination. He just discussed before he left, he said Regions may want to come back with just some little landscape light facing up on it. I'm like, no big deal, that's fine, you can do that. They just can't internally illuminate it anyway. The only thing they could have done was halo lit the letters on there, but they're pretty small, so I don't know that they really could have made that happen anyway.
Is it the building ones lit? I mean,
The building ones are halo illuminated, yes.
okay, yeah, okay, I see electrical. Where does it say that? I didn't see that. I mean, I see down here electrical. But,
Um,
am I missing it?
You would think Brett would know.
right,
I mean, I see the talk about the,
so.
oh wait, letter,
Yeah, so see, they got the standoffs here and the LEDs on the back side of the face.
no, that's getting all technical.
So the green panel is not illuminated, the letters are halo illuminated.
Okay. Thank you.
And then their orientation on the side of the building, this would be the Old Milton side. This would be the Haynesbridge side,
And the monument is up in that,
and the monument is, out here, right in front.
and the Shake Shack is right below it, right?
Shake Shack is here, yeah, Shake Shack is out here. So
And they're
there's
all-
a setback a little bit more because they've got some more right-of-way and a detention area that Shake Shack was able to go in front of the detention, but theirs landed right in the middle more, so they have to go back closer to their building.
Okay, and they're allowed to have 3 building signs?
They can have, 2, they're only proposing 2,
Oh, I thought they had,
no,
2 buildings and 1 monument.
yeah. So they got the one on that side, which is the Old Milton
oh,
and the Haynesbridge.
sorry, in their August package, they had 3 wall
They
signs.
had one on the back side, yeah.
Okay.
Do you know why they decided to change the monument? I'm just curious. I mean, is there a reason?
I think because when it went that they couldn't internally illuminate it, they had to do something to be able to support the pan because they weren't And I told him we didn't really want to see a big green box out there
Yeah.
either, so,
Okay, I was just curious.
yeah. So that's that.
Okay.
Y'all good with that?
I don't know, without a paint and color sample, I don't know if we can.
I don't know that we can really even do it, yeah.
Sure it was presented very.
All right, I'll ask for any public comment too on this application.
I've got a comment. We're gonna talk about.
You want to make a motion?
Okay, anything else for Brett? Regions.
He's already signing his approval already.
Yep.
All right,
Sign 'em
Mr.
up
Chairman,
for approval.
regarding 220011 Regions Bank, motion to approve the signage as presented today.
Okay, motion by Mr. Swing, second by Ms. Rhodes. Any comments or questions about the motion on the floor? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. Very good. Our next meeting will be Friday, April 22nd.
Oh, 22nd?
Yes, 22nd.
April 22nd.
Oh, good, I'll be here, because I'll be out of town the 15th. I emailed you guys.
Yeah,
So
week
the
late.
22nd.
The 22nd.
Yep,
Okay.
That's our normal date, right?
15th is.
That's why it's not your birthday?
Yep.
Okay. There being no further business and with no objections from fellow board members, this meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right.
How quickly he gives you guys to speak up.
Oh, I know. Mm-hmm.
Like, no further.
Yeah. There would be no time to object.
That's right.
if we
Go.
wanted to.
Let's get out